Yeah, that was great. Very good one. Thank you very much, Father Olivia. Before we start, we are from different institutions, different organizations, and maybe I've met someone outside. Here, we should be able to call ourselves by our name, not that, unless somebody to call that lady, which is in front of that man for you. So, we will introduce ourselves. In the first place, my name is Kofi Ademo. Yeah, I'm a worker here. Um, Let me finish that way. I'm a worker here, and I also work in the industry. So, we start from my right hand side, Madam. Thank you very much. This is romantic. Okay, big boss.
Okay. Good morning, everybody.
Yeah.
My name is Adidai Yodatiaro. I'm a partner in this month.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Adidayo. Big boss.
I'm a client. I came from Korea and I was there at the program.
Wow, wow, wow. Thank you very much for joining us. And my big boss.
I'm also a part of the program. I work in
Wow, which station of course? OFL, the golden station. Thank you very much. Big boss.
Okay. I'm Ken Kuzman. I work as business solutions.
Wow, thank you very much. And then I hope from now we know ourselves a bit, so we can call ourselves by name. Olivia Offense, Kenny, and um, the name, and Isaac, and Miss Marvel. We are here for a purpose, which is very simple. And then in this part of the world, we are being forced to join a group. And then that group, if you like it or yes, you need to join. It's everywhere, in the church, in our schools, at our workplace, everywhere that we find ourselves. And then that group is nothing but what I call ICT group. Not long ago, we will see the pastor standing in front of the church and then doing a sermon with the Bible in his hand. We progress to a stage where pastors use laptops for preaching with the Bible software. And then nowadays you see that our pastors will be standing there, they'll be reading the Bible, and then the Bible will be scrolling on the wall. That is ICT technology. It keeps on progressing every day, and then we are forced to learn it, let it be part of our daily activity so that we will not miss the line. If the need comes up, everything in this world should be done by. That's why we call for this seminar. Everybody knows about computer, everybody knows about ICT, but what's the need to upgrade myself if I have that knowledge? And what's the need to acquire it if I don't have it at all? But in the first place, I will give a brief presentation about this school. Is this school that is organizing it? And then we hope that after the seminar, you will be part of our students or you part of our institution. You are pursuing your ICT knowledge or acquiring ICT knowledge, add it to what you have, and then be part of this growth. So I'll talk briefly about the institution that we are in now, which is JOETECH IT Training and Professional Institute. When you talk about JOETECH IT Training and Professional Institute, it's an institution that has an agenda, and then that agenda is for the whole world, not Ghana alone. Right now, we are having this seminar, and then we are live on various platforms on the internet, meaning our agenda from the start of the institution is worldwide. So our agenda is to bring people out of a state where they have no knowledge in ICT to a point where they can call themselves professionals in ICT, earn a living from ICT, and then get something better from ICT. This is the institution about this morning, which is JOETECH IT Training and Professional Institutes. And someone asked, okay, you are JOETECH, you have an agenda. So what do you do? How can I benefit from you? These are the things that we do at JOETECH IT Training Center. First, is ICT training. It has trained people in ICT, information communication technology. Experts that are in it will tell you that it's very broad. It's not one thing. At first, when we heard of ICT at the early stages of life, we thought, oh, ICT is computer. And then along the line, we saw that, hey, phones can do what computers do. So where should you go? Should you start in the middle, or you should go the left side and then say that, oh, ICT is about phones or ICT is about computers? But gradually, we are coming to understand that ICT is very broad and wide. And then now you go to some offices and they will tell you that, oh, we did this with a computer. You say, wow, that's how ICT is. That's what we do. We train people in ICT. Subsequent presenters will tell you more about what we do here and then the content of it. But the ICT training, aside that one, we have these services that we do render to the public. If you're a student or if you are not a student, if you are an institution somewhere, if you are an organization, church, or any group, or even an individual that you need services of this sort, we can render it to you. The first is internet networking. If you have the facilities already in place and then you want us to troubleshoot one, two things for you, or you want to set up afresh, call us, we'll do that one for you. It's an institution, and then we have the men who has that capacity, who has that skill, and then you do it to your satisfaction. And then mind you, it's very affordable too. You see, as an institution, you don't need that work. That's not our main objective for this. So sorry, let's go back. And then we have CCTV camera installations, and then you hear people complaining, right now Ghana is too hard, money is not there. And then the next day you see that, hey, somebody has taken about 2,000 Ghana cedis from that person. You say, wow, so you have this kind of money and then you are telling us that Ghana is hard. Maybe that person might be experiencing that for a long time. Or searching for ways, various ways that he or she can get that attitude of a section of his or her workplace. And then one of the gadgets that can help you much about that one is CCTV. Either customers or the people who deal, who are looking your work. Maybe you have a supermarket or something and the people will look at you. We have CCTV cameras that you can install, and then top of its installation too, we do that one. And then we have portal and content management, or website content management. If you want to build a website, if you go to advanced countries, Ghana, we have it here. Not that Ghana is not advanced, we are advancing, but we haven't advanced to that state where US and Cuba, even families, nuclear families for that matter, have their own portal or they have their own website that I and my wife and my maybe 2 kids, we have that website there. And then maybe if you go for vacations, we paste it there with the pictures, videos, and so. And then even at times, sometimes somebody will do something in the family, maybe on occasion. There might be a wedding day or something. And then you see, people will more or less forget. Maybe you write it somewhere and then you forget. You put it in your email or something, and then unfortunately you forget your password and go. But you have that website, everything is there. From the one where Kushia Masan got married today, the 2 where grandpa died. That one is there. And then as an individual, a family, an organization, institution, if you want website to, we will do that for you. So we do that one too as part of our core business, which is ICT training that we do in here. Our core values. As an institution, we have 1 or 2 values that we always make sure that we are in line with it. And then when we talk of that, we are talking about our mission, our vision, and then the objectives. Let's first take the mission. What's our mission? Number one, is that as an information communication technology institution, we train professionals and impact relevant ICT knowledge in the youth, the working class, children, and people from all walks of life. As I initially said, we want to train people not just in Ghana, but worldwide. So our training cuts across every group of the society. If you are working, wow, we have a package for you. Two, maybe you have kids at home. That one too, you can bring them in here. And then one of the amazing things in here is that we have time for everybody. Someone will say, "Oh, me, I'm a slow learner. This one, even the use 3 years taught me in school, and then blah blah blah. I couldn't grab it. How can I?" Don't worry. Come to the Tech IT Training Center. We are going to train you so that you get what you want and then get value for money for that matter. And then people from all walks of life, anybody, a farmer, a banker, maybe a pastor, journalist. Fortunately, we have some here, and then you can mention a lot. All of them. It's our mission to train all of them so that we become professionals. The underlying word is professional. That's what we seek to achieve. And then by providing the needed and employable skills through practical teachings. Let me pause there before I continue. We do provide the needed and employable skills through practical teachings. One thing that I, in particular, believe in is self-employment. Not only in Ghana, that we are kind of high rates of unemployment, and then people will be coming out of school day in, day out, and then you see that jobs are not available, and they'll be saying back, they will be forming groups, graduates unemployment association, those groups. What we believe in is that you are coming in here as a student, you are coming in here to acquire a skill that will not only make someone employs you, but you can at least create something that you can earn a value out of it. We will have one presenter here who is the one who is going to take you through students, potential students, those who will come here, who is going to take you through the website design. And then he will share with you how much, not creating the website, how much, if you are administer the content or if you are an administrator, you get each day. Some even charge in hours. And then you'll be amazed that, hey, why is it that somebody will maybe travel abroad and then that person will go and seek for dinner party? Meanwhile, you can get something here. Just that you present a good website to a company, you say that, oh, I designed this or I designed that one. Managing this website for these people and go. So you get that, and then people will believe you, they'll give their job to you. So from there, you have an employable skill. So not just that, oh, I don't know how to use the keyboard, I can't be a tree typer. So I want to type fast, that's why I'm coming there. Not just that. That's not what we do a lot here. We give employable skills to you so that you get value for money. What you pay here, you get it 1,000 times after school. Not for yourself alone, but people around you, your family for that matter. And then, by continuing, it's like we prepare students to participate creatively in the establishment, sustenance, and growth of knowledgeable society, leading to all-round socio-economic development of nation and global competitiveness. This is what the politicians always tell me that it's in the pipeline. But for we, our pipe, the tap is already flowing. It's just a matter of you joining us. And then you'll be an active figure in the society, in the community, in this nation, in your neighborhood, who will help the socio-economic development of the nation. What the individuals in the state does is it amounts to what the state has. So you come in here and then you get something that, of course, is going to help you much, and then you are going to contribute to that, and it's one of our missions. Let's go on to our vision. Our vision is to train professionals who will help transform the nation with technology. We are transforming the nation with technology. China and some of the countries that you can mention has this. You see that, hey, this country is economic, whatever, and they see that the next day they say, hey, every year, so my way now, if you need everything, go to this country. You doubt it in the initial stage that, oh, forget about them, it's just a propaganda. But indeed, you go there and you see it. ICT does that. It does that one. Because if you need 10 people to do maybe one job for you, with the help of ICT, maybe 2 people will do that one. Right? You need 10 people to maybe communicate to people that, oh, come here, we have oranges here. It's one of the best in the world. You need 10 people to send this one here, that one there, that one there. But with the help of ICT, don't forget, it's through ICT that mobile phone works. So with a text message, maybe you can go and see one of the network providers, and then you tell that network provider, oh, I have this number, I want to do this. I want to send a message to maybe 1,000 people this moment for me. So they will charge you pay, and then you send that message back. You sit there and then you see that, oh, this is JOETECH Ict Training Center, and then we are organizing a seminar on this day, or we are opening admission with this, with that, with that. You need somebody to go to somebody's office to tell that person, advertise for your school or something. But ICT can do that for you. So with technology, we are helping to transform the nation. That's by bridging the gap between Africa and technology. Can I pause and add a question? There is one thing that is very closer to Africa. Can someone talk me with that? One thing is very close to Africa. It's not a disease. But we have one. The whole of Africa. South Sahara, West Africa, and some West Africa. How we are all here. It's our vision to get that thing away and then bring this thing there, so that this thing will be nearer to Africa. We hope with this thing, that thing will go away. Can you please speak it loud? Thank you. African poverty. That's why we always see our president somewhere searching for grants and loans. How many times have we seen the German chancellor coming to Ghana or going to maybe Zimbabwe for loan? Poverty is very close to us. But talk of technology, we are far away. Africa is far away from it. So not just in Obuasi, not just in Ghana here, but Africa. We want to bring Africa and technology very near. So that's one of our missions. And then the second one is to inculcate in our youth the spirit of entrepreneurship. We will get to the kind of people who will be taking, those of you who join us as students, we will take you through that, and they know why we are saying that. That we will inculcate entrepreneurship into you. Fine. You said you know how to build your site. Okay. You said you know how to make the biggest design or the brightest, the quality of it all in Obuasi, and then you do that one. You are in the house. How can somebody pay? So we don't just teach you the skills. We teach you how to make money out of that one. That's what we inculcating into the youth, especially because talk of percentage, the adults, they have the entrepreneurship attitude or that zeal in them. But we are targeting the youth especially. That's our vision. And then this is our objective. By making sure that students go out with tangible knowledge in information communication technologies and explanation to the first one, and then to bring out role models. you'll be in your community, and then every time you see that people will be coming to you. I've experienced that before. We have a place we call Konongo. I worked there, and then I was a media guy. At that time, I was a newscaster. You always see the manager coming to you ahead, and the computer will be here about now of house. So it's just that you lock your mouse pad, and then you unlock it from him, and then you teach him. What happens if somebody, a visitor, comes to his office, and then that person experiences the same problem? If he try and he fails, what will the manager do? He come and call you. So in that area, in local policy, we call it local champion. So you are who there? Your role model. People are looking up to you. Oh, Mama, I wish to Yama one day, and then in this community, everybody will know that I know how to create websites. But not just with the name. Because somebody said something the other time that if you say you are successful and you don't have money, and then how do you measure how successful you are? So we are bringing you as role models, and then you get a lot out of that one. So let's go to why you should choose the tech institute. Let's thank you guys once again for joining us, because out of your decision you choose to join us. And then we are come to a point where we are come to tell you why you should choose again this institution as a place where you stay. Okay, let's go. The first one is the people who are running this company, and then they are staffs. And the people who are in here. The first person is Mr. Joseph Kofi. Mr. Joseph Kofi is a network engineer. He's a network engineer. And then he is the CEO, Chief Executive Officer for JOETECH Ict Training Center. Somebody will say, "Oh, fine, I have a plan. Right now, I get money in my pockets. Let me search for one business so that I can do that business." Then you see that, okay, nowadays people, even if that person have just one CD in his pocket, you go to church and then you put that one in the offering book. So let me come out with a nice name, and then let me have an attachment so that I'll start building a change. And then that person has that one. Okay, fine. He has money one, and then he knows that it's a business, and then he's doing that one. He is person A. And then the other person is there. Biblically, he's strong. You know the scriptures very well. Anywhere from Genesis to Revelation, that person has been a master if it's in the Catholic Church or if it's somewhere, he has been an usher. Through that, he has get the advantage of even going to school and then studying how to become a priest or a pastor. Person B is that, and then person A. Which one of them do you think through his church you get salvation? Person B. Why?
But he knows something about life.
Yes. And then he knows what to do. So this institution with this scenario simply means that not just that we have a group of people or we have a person, and then you say, "Oh, like today the school is so where I go out and then search for ways which I can make money out of it." But he knows the business. He's a network engineer. He knows the business. And then he has seen how best it can help others. And then he wants to impart the knowledge into you, into the people of the society. So that's where it starts from. And then this is something small about managerial mind, and then you don't want to commit yourself as I'm going to do. And then you say, Mr. King, that's the one. So he will be one of our lecturers, and then this is what he does, and then something more about him. He is a senior consultant and Cisco instructor, specializing in routing and switching, security design, and multi-protocol design. From the first paragraph, we can tell where he's coming from and about Cisco. He'll throw more light on that one. So if he's working on my Cisco, then an acronym, and then whatever. Is it a computer integrated in system operation organization? We will tell you. Design networks, train hundreds of industry experts on the line, not people who are about to learn, but industry experts, those who have the expertise, who knows it already. He is a trainer, he trains them. So that one, in design, security, routing, and switching, Kenny has used his expertise to design and troubleshoot internet networks in most West African countries. He currently works as a network engineer, consultant, and instructor for SysNet Solutions. You throw more light on that one. Because SysNet, I enable that phone empty, and you say, oh, you tell you more about other ones quick. So we have a lot. Somebody say, are we working with foreigners or not? No. We have Mensa here, we have Mr. Jordan home. We ask them to send their profile, but more of our lecturers are working on part-time basis, and they have busy schedule, so they couldn't send them through. But we have them there. So let's talk a bit about affiliations. One, we have international professional certification bodies. That is ICM UK, the Cisco students, CCNA, the Cisco Network Academy. I think that's CCNA. I can explain it. Cisco Networking Academy. And then we have CompTIA, and then we have W3 schools, we have City and Girls. And then in Ghana here, we are working on that one. Ghana Institute for Management and Public Administration, KEMPA. We are in talks with them. That's affiliations that we have now. And then let's talk about certifications. Microsoft approved certification and ICM internal certification. Accreditation from NACO. Any institution, though we are registered, this is our certificate. We are registered as a school, but in Ghana here, you need to get accreditation from National Accreditation Board now. And according to their rules, if I remember, is paragraph 2 point number 13 also. They said if you apply, they will give you time, and then after that appointment, they will come and assess your facility, and then you have 30 days period to wait for the results or to wait for their reply. So it's a long process. We are in it, and then submitted our application. Hopefully, we get it. Thank God. If we get accreditation tomorrow, and then you graduated yesterday, you have excellent with accreditation. So don't worry at all. You come, let's train you, and then you get more because we are dreaming big. So I'd like to thank you for your time, and then you are once again welcome to Tech IT Training and Professional Institute. So this is our first presentation, and the floor is open now for anyone who has questions bordering this presentation before we proceed to the next presentation, which will be about Cisco. So if you have any question, suggestion, contribution, sorry, free to share. Okay, sir.
Okay. Me as a student, I'm not going to talk how to set up this. How do I say it?
How to do it with your hand,
Yeah.
practically,
Yeah.
not virtually with theoretical. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Can we have one more so we do another? Big Eva. Do you have a question?
I want to know as the Cisco engineer is
Okay.
no idea about it. I could see they have a rack here.
Yeah.
Systems inside. I know that Cisco is a very good, wide ground which more time.
Okay.
Depending on the person who goes with me. With this one, I know Bob is picking up and show how it's being done there. But I'm watching from this angle. Assuming somebody is asking for it,
Okay.
and then he doesn't have the facilities.
Okay.
How it's going to get assessment of all those things,
All those.
Sometimes when it happens, when you have things like this, or when you learn about it, you still need to get to company or institution whereby when you're on the ground working,
You learn it.
and then and just get ideas and get gadgets from there to do your work also as well. So I would like to know after all these things, how the gadget be how how the application also becomes.
Thank you very much for that. Cisco, all the questions that what is about Cisco, I'll leave it to the big man. You answer that one more. But talk of the institutions that if after this place, maybe you learn something about Cisco, and then you want a company to attach yourself to so that you can learn on the ground. That one we are putting in place a lot of measures. And then that one, the first batch of students will get the benefit more. It's a Nigeria secret, but let me share. The first batch of students will get the benefit more. Let's say it. When you come join the first batch of students, thankfully you can join the first batch. Admission is still in progress. You can join them, and then that one you are rest assured. Talk of companies that have the equipment to help you. We know what's ready. So it's just a matter of time. And then back to your question, besides right, you asked them that if you come, are you going to get a practical experience or are you going to textbook? Thank you for the question. The answer to it is I believe in one thing. That one of the reasons why people find it very difficult to worship God is that people want to see God. People believe that, hey, I know God. Hey, don't worry yourself. Put the Bible somewhere. We are coming to talk about God. God, me, I make him downstairs there. That's what we do. And then it will help us a lot. That's what we do here. We do practical things. You can see computer around you. They are not for the school. We have our laptops. And they are not for the individuals or the people in here. We have our laptops with people. All of them are for you. You have internet access 24/7. Talk of the gadgets that you use to learn. We have this big machine here, and it is for Cisco students. This machine, you will not see them somewhere. Why? Simply because you go to an institution, and then this is a valuable machine, and then it costs a lot. So it should be somewhere. That even if you are an employee and then you are not up to some standard, that the company trusts that you won't destroy anything about it, they won't allow you to do it. But thankfully, in here, we have everything set. So it's practical. If you come here for hardware engineering, you do something small about it, theoretical aspect, and then the rest you need practical. So the practicality aspect of it is higher than the theoretical aspect. Any follow-up questions?
I think it's 3 months course. I
Yeah.
want to know that level 1, level 2, level 3 because the good is the IPMs. A friend of mine. Our level 1 is 6 months.
Okay.
That one is only theory aspect. Unless you have I'm going to set level 2 before you do your practical. And that's how I was asking whether you do your practical still. So I want to know if it's level 1 or level 2, level 3, or 3 months you taught everything.
Yeah,
3 months.
you taught everything in 3 months. But the 3 months is not for all the courses. Some of the courses you need time. And then I initially said you have time for people. Someone will come here, he said, oh, I know nothing about maybe web design. He will stand there. No, he will not even ready, so he stand there and then you see some student designing it. The next day you meet me, a designing one. He's a fast learner. And then he learned by watching. That how you know how to teach those students. And they have slow learners. Somebody needs about 6 months. Before what somebody can grab in just 2 weeks, he can grab it. And then that one too is there. And then to your question, that if you have stages that you progress or something, the main situation here is that we have specific months for the courses. Maybe top of type, we have 1 month for that. And then we have 3 months for Microsoft Office. Programming is 6 months. So we have different categories. And then maybe you come in here and you say that, oh, fine, I came in here for 3 months. After that, I'm not getting it well. Or I know it, but I want to know more. We can organize special class for you. And then you get a higher discount there because you are continuing your stay. And then not just that, we have that measures in place, and then you come, you say, oh, listen, if we teach them how to create this one in class, this one, they won't come and pay for special class. So let's teach them, let's waste time on how to create this one and then leave this one. No, we are not going to do that. We want to give you value for money. We want you to sell the institution. Everywhere you go, you say that, hey, Charlie, go to this side, go to this side. Is there that all the goodies are? Eh? So after the 3 months, you want to progress, fine. And then we have online courses, many online courses in place. Maybe you come in here and then you write for certification, you write for a certificate. And then after you've been awarded that one, say, oh, I want diploma. That one, we know how to help. Maybe with the same skill that you acquired, you can use it for the diploma. Or we need to add something to it and guide you how you can get the diploma. So we have all 6 strategies. As a student, after registering, you are appropriate. So make sure that you achieve what you like. How you are okay now? Okay, thank you very much. Please, any more questions? Or issue? Okay. So thank you very much for your time. This is where we will end the first presentation, and then we will welcome with a round of applause for you to take us through the Cisco network. Yes, someone. Yes.
First and foremost, thank you for inviting me first.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you for inviting me. So much. Each and every time I've been invited to talk about IT, it's always something broad to talk about. Right? IT is something very good to talk about. Where do I start from? Or how do we pick things up? Earlier on, we were talking about ICT, and it's so obvious that the way we put ICT is different from the way some of us see it now. People are already using it. It's different from how the layman people how they see ICT. Like you said, ICT is all about to them computer. And you got to a certain stage that ICT happens to be cyber cafe for some people. And you got to a stage that ICT is all about, I need to get the desktop at home. In as much as they don't know what the desktop can really do. And as time goes on, they start discovering that I can use this desktop to watch movies, to play music. And they got to say that people in the universities, the polytechnics, they have the laptop, they have the desktop, but they don't know the purpose which they have it. So it's all based down to movies and music and all of that. At the end of the day, mobile phones start coming out. The likes of the 3310 back in those days. If you look at, we can't stop movies, we can't stop music and then, the only few things that we can do, then technology changes, they start bringing in, those smartphones, the ones with memory cards, the ones with, internet one, the ones you have to have it to this and have it. Transition. So what is ICT itself? Information communication technology. So what does that mean? For every information, there's always a communication through a technology. Now, back in those days, we always, we want to send a message down to somebody in Accra. You have to write a letter, send it through a driver, or better still, you have to Accra. I just came to deliver this message to you. We will notice that I wanted to, you are passing an information across, which turns to communication. In the modern day, technology is what we say it to be. This is into information technology itself. Data, voice, and video. That is all what information is all about. Back in those days, it's all about data, mobile phone, text message, communication and phone. We cannot do then voice, and then communicate. Then later on, video calls start calling. They integrate all of these things into something we call the same, the ICT itself. Now, as you see, ICT is broad. How did it come about this mobile phones? How do we set up those networks? What aspect do you really have into the ICT? Who are the people who just program this phones and how to communicate with your laptop? Then we start breaking ICT down into basics and say that programmers, you have the people who are the web developers, you have the people who are into security, you have the people who are network guys, who just set up the entire network. Yes, I always tell people that if you want to see what ICT is all about, ICT is all about you building a house. That is what ICT is about, building a house. Now, when you're building a house, how many people come together to build up that house? To set up that particular house. Not one person, not two, not three. You have as many as you want. You have the laborers, the mason guys, who comes to mix the sand and cement. You have the architects who gives you the design. You have the electricians who come to this, who come to that. Exactly. No network that you ever work on. It's always like that. Take for example, I need to set up a banking system network. How many guys do I need to really set up these things? You need somebody who is competent, who is good when it comes to securing a network. And securing a network is not about, where we need to put this particular gadget, the kind of padlocks that you really need to use to lock it. No, we talk in terms of how do you protect your data, how do you secure your data, on there. So you need experts. Also, the design itself, like we always say, if the design of a house is wrong, when you put all the whole structure there, forget about it, is also the wrong itself. So in every single network that you have to set up, on every single network that you have to set up, design itself is the basics, is the fundamentals. You have people into other different fields, aspects of life, come into networking and you blend them into IT and everything just goes. Well, I'm not here to talk about the programmers. I'm not here to talk about the web developers. I'm here to talk about the network guys. The people who are growing the whole network itself. Enhancement. Somebody will set up a database, probably Oracle database, SQL and all that. The infrastructure is there, set it up. It's a Microsoft kind of person who is into servers, configure the server to work this way. They got their own server, is here. Network management systems, service, repository is here. At the end of the day, who needs to manage is the network guy. So individually, people will configure their servers. And they say, for you the network, it is your responsibility for how we will access all these servers. It is you who determine that for us. Now, here is the basic question. Anytime the network is down or something goes off in the server room, for example, probably the data will just shut down. What do they always complain? They say the network is down.
Bring back our net.
Bring back our network. The truth is, the network is never down. It's an aspect of the network that is down. You know when you say the network is down, that means every single device is powered off. So if somebody cannot access the database, don't tell me that the network is down. I can't access the database. Probably there is, you can access the internet. The internet is also part of the network that you have set up. So as a network administrator or as a network engineer, these are all these things that you have to really look into. These are things that you have to, your life depends on them because you are the backbone of the company. They require you sometimes as a network administrator or engineer to have basic knowledge about each and every single thing, not in depth, so that when the database administrator is not there, you can use a little bit side knowledge to see how you can fix it. When the security server went down, you can use it, even though that is not your potential field, but that is what is required of you to know. It's on how to really manage the entire of all these things. But one field that truly gives 100% knowledge for anybody who wants to know in depth of networking is actually the system. Somebody might want to ask, then what is Microsoft all about? What is Microsoft network? What is Cisco networking? Two different entirely. Microsoft is only into softwares, operating systems, IAMs. Now, it is when you set up all this network, when you put all these switches, the routers, you connect the cables, and everything is up, then you are deciding which operating system do I want to use on my network. That is where Microsoft comes in. Now, modern days now, it's not modern days. You have Linux as an application, you have Mac operating system and all this kind of thing, right? So there's a competition in all this field. So we think of using Microsoft at the end of when you physically set up all this. But how do you physically set up this? That is where the Cisco network actually comes into this. We always tell people that Cisco is all about life. For people who are really into IT itself, Cisco is all about life when it comes to the technology aspect of it. It's the brain, the mind, the backbone of in-depth networking itself. There's no way you say you are into networking field and you miss Cisco. No, you can't. Reasons because even the entire world itself, the output of most of the companies in the entire world is basically Cisco. There is a proof I'll be showing us as time goes that Cisco have come to stay not only in Africa but in the entire world itself. They come out with their own devices, they produce their own switches, their own routers, their own firewalls, because they want people coming into this field to get conversance with their equipment. Now, the basic knowledge you get from Cisco itself can be applied in every other field. For example, Juniper. Juniper is also a competitor, when it comes to Cisco. The kind of knowledge you gain from here can be applied in the fiber optic because it's still another purpose of networking that is really good there. So Cisco gives you index. Somebody wants to ask again, why is Cisco not the same like every other people? Now, Cisco is the only person that breaks down the aspects of networking for you. They are the only people that breaks the aspect of networking. How many courses do we have right under Cisco? How many careers can you really go into when it comes to Cisco? We have about 8 to 9 different fields. Right? Like I said earlier on, networking is like you building a house. Let's keep that unit right. Now, when you need to build a house, you need somebody to design the plan of the house for you. You want to see the design first. When I need to set up a network, one paramount thing that is important is designing. You have people who are specialized in designing the network. They don't know how to secure a network. They don't even know how to configure. But trust me, the only thing they know how to do is to design a network. And people think designing a network is how you place the switch, the routers, and the switch, how you lay your cables. No. Designing has a whole lot to do. For example, how many people is this network going to carry? About 500 people, about 1,000 people. What kind of devices do I really need to make sure that I can carry 1,000 people? Are we putting redundancy into place so that if this network fails now, is there one that can quickly pick up on such network? These are things that we want into designing itself. Aside from new designing, we have people into security that we call the network security guys. Now, this person might not have any idea about how to design a network. But trust me, when it comes to security, they are the best. When you finish building your house, the design is there, you put all the infrastructure. What do you do next? You secure the house. Now, there are levels in security. I'll take you back to the house issue. When you build up your house, you have the locks, to your bedrooms, the rooms, and all this. At the end of the day, you always have a major, fence. And the level of your fence also determines the kind of people that can break into the house. You see people build these short houses and their fences are as tall as the wall of Jericho. It's just way too tall. It tells me that I want a maximum security. But the truth is, when it comes to security, we don't have maximum security. If we really have the maximum security, then nobody will be hacking into anybody's accounts. What do we do when it comes to security? We minimize risks. That's what it's going to do. From a security perspective, I can tell you that this solution or this command I can give you, once I give you, implement anywhere and nobody will be able to break into your network. It's a lie. It's a lie. It's not possible. We only minimize risks when it comes to network. And when it comes to security, how do you do that? Cisco tells you the whole lot. Aside from that, we have people who want to go into telecoms. You want to work with MTN, Vodafone, some of these service providers. And I'm thinking, how do I break into these telecoms? How do I work my way through? How do I really blend into it? ICT itself is a technical environment. So sorry to say, somebody that's going to do BS in computer science, at the end of the day, you have been asked, what is your major? Where do you really major in? Where is your field? Because when it comes to telecoms, we have routing experts, switching experts, security experts, radio experts. So you can't just come and say, I went to school to do computer science. We don't have a space for you because this environment is technical, pure technical. So it's either I say, okay, I do computer science, but I major in routing and switching. I just want to radio. This process for my suite is voice. You need to be specific. So when it comes, this environment of telecoms comes with practical people who are totally, up there. I did civil engineering, but at the end of the day, ICT. How do I blend civil with ICT? How do I blend civil with Cisco? I was left to do about that. We have people who jump all the way from banking and finance straight into Cisco itself. We have people from economics who jump straight into economics. Our friends like journalists, who back in pharmacy and they're into Cisco. And I asked, how are you guys blending? They said, don't worry, things are changing. So we really want to really blend the whole thing into it. And I said, okay, all right. And no problem. Getting into telecoms itself, you need to be at this level, not at this level. You only come in with this level, but by the time you are leaving, you have to live at this level because there's all lot of competition. So Cisco also provides courses, which we call the service provider operation or the service provider courses. There are two different types: the service provider and the service provider operation. One says how you maintain the entire thing, how you look at the whole process. One says how you really configure. We know people on networks today, they say, I'm not ready to configure. But when you people configure, I'm ready to manage. I want to be the security man. I want to be monitoring the whole thing. And anytime there is a problem, we need to call that center to configure the network back. That we have a problem, come fix this particular problem. Aside from that, the whole IT is really changing. We start hearing about voice over IP. What is it all about? We've seen banking systems of late. They set up their own private voice over IP. Why do they do that? It reduces money. It reduces cash. Remember those days when we need to, make calls, pay the amount of money, buy this credit and all this. Then it all came down to look at their so it's because if you know how many kilobytes you are using, spending to make a call, it's not even as much as that one city that the charge entire whole day. Lack of knowledge. Ever since the invention of telecom, the mobile phones and all those things, and I got into the Cisco field, I try as much as possible to spend less. And people always ask, how? This is it. It's just simple. The company where I work for, which is Business Solutions, we set up our own voice that we use. Even when you are, let's say, 500 meters away from the office, it can still call you. We design our own applications, we set up our own wireless, and people just make us for free. Then the people in the neighborhood start looking at, you guys make us for free. Can you extend this to your network? They'll start extending it to 1 kilometer. Now, if you are around our office 1 kilometer, and have your Android phone or you have your laptop, you can call any of your friends for free without passing through Vodafone NTN. How do you do that? Cisco technology. It's just a simple. Now, we've seen people start saying, can you extend after that 1 kilometer? What are they trying to make us do? To keep out the Vodafones and the NTN away. Then in that same light, we need the people like the web developers. We need the people like the programmers who can design, software. How you can customize, your own software. Then you install on the mobile phone. And at the end of the day, all people just need to do is buy a mobile phone, install our application, just like the OLX and Co. Just install the application, and once you can see our signal around, you can call anybody for free. You don't pass through, so you don't get the money. So it's free. So at the end of the day, most of these small venture companies started approaching us. How do you do this? We want to do the same thing for our company. We want to do the same thing for our institution. We want to do the same thing for our hospital. And at the end of the day, hospitals started saying that, how deploy that same voice for us? So when we go to hospitals, just okay, this is it. But anywhere they are, they also start making calls for free. And at the end of the day, they save money on calls, on their phone, on their MTVs. You don't need to give a staff. I remember back in those days, people take allowances every month for phone calls. Take this money, this 20 CDs for the entire month for your phone calls. Take this 50 CDs. And we start, but even though people start hating us, actually, because they don't take this money again. But we want to improve, like I said, we want to bring technology closer to Africa. And how do we do that? Just like this. And put it just true, the Cisco technology itself. In other areas that the Cisco also improves is the wireless. If anybody feels like, I want to really know the wireless, I really want to go into this, I want to expand my knowledge base. How do this NTN and this service provider erect their poles and mount those radios? You see those big things there, those big circle, the KU1 and the IDs and the ODUs. Indoor digital data unit and outdoor data unit. One receives and one sends out. You always see on every single of those maps, those pylons that you see, there are two. One facing one direction, one facing the in direction, outer and indoor. Backbone that the service provider is always that same way that they always have. So Cisco also gives basics and in-depth knowledge into anybody who wants to get into the wireless environment. Aside from that, the routing and switching, which is always the basic. See, there's no institution you go in that will not see a router and you not see a switch. Now, we are not talking about the kind of plug and play devices right now. We are talking about devices that right? The drum devices, they are already pre-configured. They tell you how they want to function, right? The live devices like that of Cisco, you tell them how you want those devices to function. Two different things entirely. So when you go to buy some switches that are dumb switches, they are just there, they are plug and play. You buy it, just tear the packet, plug it, connect your cables, and start communicating. That's all. They are prone to errors, they are prone to mistakes and all this kind of stuff. But the likes of this, I can tell this switch how this switch is supposed to behave. For example, I can look at the port on this switch and connect this young my laptop there, right? And I've secured that laptop on that port. If you should remove this cable out of that port and you plug your own system there, that port is not going to function again. That's security. That means I'm secure. I remember how do we implement this solution? One banking system in Kumasi, they have another branch, Golden Pride, right? Back in those days, when they were starting up, they start always complaining. This person's system is faster than mine. This person's system is faster than mine. So they always wait. At the end of the closing hour, change the system and share with that one. Then they were giving problems, fights every now and then, insult in the office. We are being called, is this something we can do? I'm going to know, okay, this is what we are going to do. We are going to restrict every single system to a port on a switch. So in as much as they close after the closing hour, they change the entire systems. When they come back the next month, none of them can access the network because the systems we have changed, they don't belong to the rightful port until you change them back before things can start really working. And I remember the network guys then, they used to give him headache. So the guy doesn't really know much. So everybody when things are not working, they start running around. You power up the switch, power it off. Yeah, and they are also on his neck. Meanwhile, you guys have done something overnight when he wasn't around, And later when we start putting him on the track, these are the solutions you need to put in place and put in through. Now, when they all resume back in the morning and things are not working, he doesn't disturb himself. He just pockets, standing in his office and tell them, whatever you have done when I was not around, do it back, and then that's it. That's how I come back. And they're like, how do you notice we've done something? They say, oh no, don't worry. You change them back, and you will see that everything. And when they change back, things come back to normal. So how then the staff start asking, how do you do it? Like I've started the new course, it's not a Cisco thing, and I'm learning so much from it. So it's whatever solution in there. These guys always come here to implement. I just see how the practice knowledge. That is one solution that you can also be thinking about the system. People always want to know, how can I block people? How can I deny people? How can I permit people? For example, you are tired of people going to Facebook, going during working hours. And you're like, I don't know much about security. Is there a way I can really implement this? Definitely, simple ways that you can really do this. Cisco gives you the platform that you can, really establish yourself right, in this particular aspect. But we have hierarchies when it comes to the Cisco field. We have hierarchies. I'm sure from the level of an entry person, we have the associate person, we have the professionals, we have the experts, then we have the overall, the architect itself. Now, someone will ask me that what is the entry level? The entry level is just like normal, basic entry, like they're going into the primary school and the nursery school, and whatever it is you get from the entry and the associate level, they're just basics. They're just basics. Because Cisco don't give you everything in one class. No, it's not possible. Everything keeps from one stage to the other, from one stage to the other. Until you get to that high level, the top rank, the architect level or the expert level, then you know that, now I know so much. But before you can get there, to be honest with you, I'll be honest completely. It's not easy getting top there. It's easy to get top there, but to maintain top there is not easy. Reasons because ICT or IT itself, for shortcut, is the only field that you need to expect anything at any moment. Tomorrow, Microsoft can change. I'm not using whatever SP or whatever Vista or whatever it is. This is the new road that we are using. You need to learn. Tomorrow, Cisco is the one booming, and what face just changed. It's doing it. For you to keep your job and still be in line, you need to learn the new studs in. So we always tell people, IT is the only difficult field. It's the only difficult course you can handle. People ask, why? Why do you say this? The 3-column cash flow they did in accounting, the same trial balance that you did in accounting. It's still the same thing up to now. Medicine, the same brain is still the same brain, the same family is still the same family, the same blood is still the same blood there. What is to make research and see how people's life are better. But IT is not the same. Remember the time when we used to use NT? NT, Windows XP, SP, 2000, way back. And every single year, there's more pressure on us. Reason because the companies we are working for, they want to upgrade. And if you are not ready to upgrade, they employ somebody else. So in order for you to also keep in line, you need to upgrade. So it looks as if whatever it is we are studying now, probably 2 years or the 3 years, that is just the deadline. You need to embark on another source. And with the networking field is, you can't keep in one field. You need to be you need to be in 2-3 fields. In as much as you don't really need to be expert in all those 3 fields, but like a backup, I've seen a situation whereby I remember when I was into basic routing and switching alone, and I applied for a job, and they said, okay, in the job interview, the job adverts, they put the routing and switching there. They even said it's an advantage when you have to send the routing and switching. And we applied. And when we go to the job interview, we are so much. So for them to cut some of us out, then they said, well, if you have the security, you can stay behind. Some of us left. Then I started taking points. I started getting knowledge from people that were advanced. And I started saying, in this field, you can't do one thing. You need to know overall. Then I started going on. I started like, so which field am I going to go into now? Then I started saying, okay, security, okay, design. 3 aspects that is always good for every single network administrator and engineer to get into. Design, routing and switching, and security. Those 3 is always the best thing. Every other field, for example, the voice, for example, the wireless, for example, the service provider, for example, data center. Now, things are changing, the storage wise are changing now. Google already comes out with this iCloud, put all your data right here, stored there. So what are they trying to tell us? In the nearest future, forget about laptops. Instead of having some small device, I'm quite right on my data, they are going to, all you just need is internet, and you access whatever it is you really want to write on there. So are they trying to tell us that laptops will be useless in some nearest future? Yes, it is. They are going to. Won't be carrying something as heavy as that. That's why they have some of this smart phones and all this things. So Cisco itself is a whole lot. Someone who has, you talk about this voice, this wireless, routing and switching, design, security, service provider, data center, service provider operations. Where can one start from? I've talked about the stages we have when it comes to the Cisco field. Like I said, we have Cisco hierarchies, which is the entry, the associates, the professionals, the experts, and the architects. But there are 3 stages into every single field we pick under Cisco. We have the CCNA, we have the CCNP, and we have the CCI. Those are the 3 stages that we have. Now, when you pick on the CCNA, what is the CCNA all about? Cisco Certified Network Associates. Now, this is the entry level, this is the associate level, which you learn when it comes to networking. It's a basic fundamentals when it comes to networking. It's always first with the CCNA itself. You can decide and say, I want to go into routing and switching. The first thing you start with is the CCNA routing and switching. If you decide tomorrow and say, I want to go into security, the first thing you do is security itself. So the CCNA security the CCNA course itself, it is the fundamentals, it is the basics that you really need to get into as a network administrator or as a network engineer. Itself. But the breakdown comes with CCNA. People don't know that CCNA is one of the most sought IT certifications in the entire world. Take your Google, take your internet, sit down. Which certification is one of the most sought? It's always the system itself. In short, the system itself is one of the most sought IT certifications that you want right now. So, okay, why do I put this across? I wish I can get some of my students, in Kumasi and down there. I have a student here, Richard Kofi Annan, was with the Golden the yeah, it was literally short under Joe. Joe was training him. And we needed to travel to the UK. And the auntie said, before you come, please do the system before you come. Because with this, you can easily get a job. I don't need to worry about whatever it is. Easily. I have two guys in Kumasi, a female and one other guy. And the husband is in the US, right? He works with a company in the US. And the husband wants to bring the wife down to the States. And one of the workers in the office where they always work, the guy always see this lady just come to the office early in the morning. By 1 hour, 30 minutes, the lady start walking all around, free. Then the husband look into why is it that we resume work and it's like 1.5 hours, you are done with your work, I start going about. Then he's like, I'm just a managing person here. I'm going to manage and do all this thing. Then it's like, when you pay, they pay you per hour. For him, it is like 10-50 cents per hour. And this lady who just works 1.5 hours, everything is done. It's almost $25 per hour. And he said, I'm using Cisco, and the other said, let me call my wife. And I went, yeah, Sandra. I want you to go make inquiries where you can study Cisco. Look for somewhere that they give practical knowledge, not just theory forms, just practical knowledge. That is the most important. This lady was coming all the way from economics. In short, she had masters in economics and everything. And they said IT. It's not something she ever thought of in her life. But I'm doing this because they said there's money in that field. It's true. There's a whole lot of money in Cisco field, to be honest with you. That one I can really tell you. There's a whole lot of money in the Cisco field. But who gets the money? It's those people who knows it. It's the people who knows it that gets the money. It's the people who spend time, quality time to get the truth out of this whole field that really, gets money when it comes to the Cisco field itself. So the system is, you get the training, at the end of the day, you go for a certification exams, you need to sit for an international exam that shows that you truly know this. Now, as engineers, Cisco put something across. We don't want anyhow engineers. We want competent engineers. Anytime someone tells me he or she is having a CCN certificate, first thing I always tell them is congratulations. Anybody can have it. But then they push work out in front of you. Then you start saying that no, the person didn't really work hard to get the certification. You just studied to get the certification, but the knowledge is not really there. I started to understand what Cisco meant by competent engineers. Competent engineers are not those people with all the certifications. There are people with even the network is down, for example, and you just need the person they call. And the president said, when was the time that the network went down? What was the last problem on the network before this? Go figure out this. That is the problem. And you figure out the whole thing out, they put the solution across to you, and the whole thing comes back to normal. There's somebody you call, our network is down, and the person tells you, please, I'm coming, I need to come here to see. Now, the time the person will use to come down there, also get there and start troubleshooting the whole problem. When you need to employ someone, you rather employ the person that can, I'm not there, but just tell me what the problem is and I can figure what the problem, the whole solution really is. Then I start understanding this Cisco by saying the competent. And how do I test myself on this? My clients call, and our network is down. I start telling them, I'm not going to be at your site. Tell me whatever it is and I'll solve it for you. I thought these Vodafone guys Airtel dies, it does that for us. When you call them that your internet is not working, until when the problem is so critical that you see one of their stars there, otherwise they have you in front. Is it troubleshooting? It is high level in that networking field that they have really got into. And some of them is to take you through sequence, stages. They have to tell you, power this off, power that on. Are you seeing the green light? Can you see the red light? Can you see this? And at the end of the day, everything comes back to normal. So, in this all, CCM is just the basics. So I always tell people, when you are done with the CCM, what can I do next? Here's the big man. In the networking field, anybody who is having the CCM, we tend to see them as somebody having BSc in networking. When you have the CCM, they have masters in networking. It's so obvious that even when you look into the graphics, the newspapers and all that, and you are applying for a job or you see some job vacancy right in there, they will tell you qualification, BSc in computer science, or CCM certification. Because they believe that you've gone to school 4 years, whatever you did there, just basic materials. Is what we do in our company is basic practice. You need to learn to fix this and fix it. So we don't need that your theory knowledge to bring down here. We rather need the practical knowledge. Now, how does the industry start changing this? First, Christian Service University, now Tech, and now Labour. How do they do that? They start Cisco courses into the BSc Computer Science. So if you are doing BSc Computer Science in any of these universities, automatically you are taking Cisco courses during your 4 years. So when you finish from school, instead of you finishing, I'm not with BSc, let me go to MIT, or let me go to HighPeace, or some of these content institutions, let's go to learn the profit. No, you've done that while in school. But the problem is, there's a time factor with them. Whether you finish the semester or not, they move on to the next semester. So you might not really have time to really deal with the entire whole body there. So some of these companies back in Malaysia, they set themselves aside for the students, weekend classes. Saturday, Sunday, Sunday, do every other. So aside from the CCM itself, the CCM, like I said, Cisco certified network professionals. So at this stage, you have so much to know. There's so much in your head. You've dedicated time to pick which field that you really want to really go in. You are going in there. For example, for somebody who is going into, let's say, the routing and switching, for example, CCNA routing and switching. At the CCNA level, it's only basic. When you get to the CCNP, we are going in-depth knowledge itself. We are going really in-depth into the CCNP itself. Now, when it comes to the CCNP level routing and switching, they divide those courses into 3. When you are doing CCNA, everything is packed up all together. Small insights into design, small insight into security, small into routing and switching, small into IP addressing. They put all of those things for you. But when you get to the CCNP level, they divide them by saying you have the routing certification, you have the switching certification, then you have troubleshooting. Why? Then I begin to ask, why is Cisco really break all these things now? Then it suggests that we have people who knows how to configure the network, but they don't know how to troubleshoot the network. We've had Cisco engineers like that. I've seen network administrators and engineers like that. Trust me, they know how to configure the network. But anytime something goes wrong on the network, in as much as they are even the one that configure the network, they don't know how to troubleshoot it. The easiest way for them to troubleshoot is to erase, delete everything, and start everything all over again. So most companies of late, they start telling us, I think it's not that we need people who knows how to configure this thing, but also need people who knows how to troubleshoot. Now, when it comes to troubleshooting, not somebody who will take the entire day to troubleshoot. Somebody will need 5-10 minutes, you can really troubleshoot. So the system track of the routing and switching, you have a troubleshooting exam to do. The design is already there in your exam, they expect you to troubleshoot. And let me give us a tip in their own exam. Now, the exam is about 50 questions. Your solution for question 1 will help question 2. The solution for question 2 will help question 3. Now, it's the only CCNP exam and Cisco CCNP exam that when you make mistake, you can go back. Every other exams, you can't. Once when I click next, I said, oh, the answer I chose for the previous question is wrong. Can I go back? No. You can't. But for the troubleshooting aspect, you are giving that leverage simply because this the solution for every depends on the previous question that you answered. We've seen some people, answering the question, you go to the, let's say, 47th question, and there's a problem. I can't see the way forward. That means, my 46th question, how did I answer it? Is wrong. That is, if kids not take it's not going to from the beginning. Troubleshooting. They just really wanted to know your level. If we are really able to, you're able really to troubleshoot the network itself. So aside from the CCNP level, is the CCIE level. And the CCIE level are people with so much respect, because there are people who have dedicated so much time to really get to that topmost level. The reason why I always say that is to get to a CCIE level, honestly, is not one easy thing. It's not a PhD course. It's not masters or whatever it is. No. This one is a kind of exams that you are given 8 hours lab exam. Actually, you have 2 exams to write. But for your part B, which is section B, exams, they are giving you 8 hours lab exam. They set up all of these routers and switches for you. Then you do a work for 8 hours. That is the lab exam. Before you can say you have, the CCI certification itself. And having a CCI certification in the networking field or in the IT field is equivalent to you having PhD in networking. So when you see someone who says, I'm having CCI, and you have your unique number, the person really have really worked up to that level. It's not one easy thing. Sense that also that I don't know of any exam that is as expensive as the CCIE. For a CCIE lab exam alone, it's $1,500. Lab alone, not the theory aspect. The theory aspect is $450. So if you add that $450 to $1,500, almost $2,000, right? Some people want to, you go to South Africa to write, or you go to UK to write, you go to US to write, or India to write exams. Whichever way, there's play in and play out. You have to fly yourself in, you have to fly yourself out. You have to rent the book hotels and all those things. At the end of the day, you are looking at your Cisco, CCIEs and they've not achieving it. Spend up to like $4,000, $5,000. Now, you now go and fail, you come back. You know what you just throw out, you know what you just threw away in 8 hours, 15,000 euros. That's the amount of money. And that's just, this is a package. And we see people who have tried twice, 3 times. Yes, in Ghana, we've seen people who have gone for the CCI exam 2 times, 3 times. How many CCI do we even have in Ghana? It's they're not up to 10. That's the honest truth. How many CCI? Less than 50,000. So, and we have people who are triple CCIE, 4 times CCIE, 5 times CCIE, not in one single field, different fields. So they've really taken a whole lot. So anytime someone talk about the networking field, and I said, the networking field is easy, I just smile, I laugh. I said, no, you don't know what you're saying. We have people who have been in this particular field for years and they are still struggling. Telling you, Charlie, there's so much in this field that it's going to be. Except if you are working at your job is a low-level job, then you can say, your field is not demanding, your networking field is not demanding. But if you are at the topmost level, it's always going to be demanding. For example, you set up all these things today, and the next tomorrow, the boss is telling you, the production is coming to install fiber optic, and I don't have fiber optic knowledge. That means my company is going to start looking for somebody who has the Cisco knowledge with fiber optic. at the end of the day, I'm being pushed out of out of the system. So in order for me to keep up, I need to start learning the fiber housing. At the end of the day, the company is changing from your normal Ethernet wide area network to the new afresh MPLS network, and I don't have the MPLS knowledge. Automatically, the company will push me out. If I someone to download it. So every single day, single year, single month, you have something you need to keep learning in this networking field. So that's why it's not really that easy. And that's just Cisco field. There are some companies who will tell you, we need to also have knowledge in Juniper, or we need to have knowledge in Nokia devices. And you're still struggling with the Cisco field. How do I also go into this field? So it's just so much into the whole idea of the network itself. The next step is, after systening, what now? You decide that. How do I choose whether if I'm this routing and switching guy? How do I choose what kind of person? The truth of the matter is, the basic you can ever start in or start from, or you can ever be in, is always the routing and switching. That is after your routing, CCNA routing and switching, and CCNA routing and switching. Then you can decide, let me go into voice, let me go into security, or let me, if you are someone who always love to move with the trend is not data center, building cloud, sorry, and let me go into data center also, and get a bit of knowledge and all these things. So it's a choice. It doesn't belong to us. It actually really belongs to itself. Changes come. If I should start the system course today, what am I going to learn? Right in there. What am I going to learn when it comes to the system? A whole lot. For example, your wide area network. A lot of people want to know, how do they really connect this head office and branches together? Yes, you learn that. And I'm not going to learn that, like the question you asked, this software is, now, that's the reason why we have these devices here. That's the reason why we have this equipment here. Practically, these are things that we deal with, we work with itself. At the same time, IP addressing, yes, things are changing right now. A lot of us are not making use of IP version 4 address, the likes of the 192, 168, we always know. Addresses are just what computer used to communicate. Yes, addresses are what computer used to communicate. And anything I ask people, what forms the basis of communication between two systems? Two laptops. What forms the basis of communications? And people say, oh, it's the cable. When you connect the cable together. But the truth of the matter is, wireless laptops connect together without the cable. So how do they communicate? So what is the basic communication between two systems? They said, no, it's the IP address. We must have the IP address. And I said, no. What forms the basic communication between two systems? It's not the IP address, it's not the cable. Something is common on all your systems, which is the NIC card, the network interface card, right? And on that network interface card, something is uploaded on it, which is the MAC address, which makes your laptop unique, right? The MAC address. Now, before I and him can communicate, I need to ask him, do you have the MAC address? It says yes. They also have the MAC address. Yes, then you can communicate. So what is the MAC address for? For connectivity. Then what is the purpose of the IP address? You use it to carry packets. That's it. So if I need to, as you need to make requests to the internet, right? You need to access Facebook, Google. If your system is not having the IP address, it's not going to work because it's the IP address that needs to carry the packet. What packet? Facebook packet. So, and you cannot, you can't have IP address without the MAC address. This is not knowledge that I got from Cisco easily. Because I always wonder, how do they communicate? The Cisco makes all these things that okay. Then what is the best form of security? Do you create security based on the IP address or create security based on the MAC address? The best form of security is always on the MAC address, not on the IP address. Reasons because I can change my IP address. Which one is what? Like I come in here and I said my name is James, and I cause trouble here. And I went out and he sacked me and I came back. As I'm coming back, and I'm like, someone like you was there. What is your name? And I said, Ken. He's like, oh, yeah, they are twins, so let's see. So it's the other person that it's the same thing. You know, I asked your network with this particular IP address. You brought that IP address up, and I came with a different IP address, still using the same laptop. But when you block my MAC address, irrespective of the IP address I'm coming in with, I cannot have access to that. So these are things that we put together in the Cisco field, in the systemic field that you really want to know. Aside from that, the IP address, like I said earlier, you know, IP version 4 is walking away slowly. You know, it's moving away. Why do I really put this across? We're being told that the entire IP version 4 IP address can only give us 4.3 billion people. I mean, 4.3 billion IP addresses, right? If you look at the population we have more than 4.3 billion. Now, take it like this. What if IP addresses are unique? Take 4.3 billion IP addresses from 7.2 or 7.3 billion. That means you have some 2.3 billion people who doesn't have access to IP address itself. So what did they do? They created IP version 6. Something so easy with IP version 6. They start telling us with the IP version 6, one person is entitled to almost 2.2 million IP addresses. You know what that means? I'm going to use it. I'm going to misuse that address. Only me, 2.2 million IP addresses. Do you know what I can do with that? That means if you look into the future of technology, you start seeing that in the future, there are research that start coming out with IP addresses. There are shoes that start coming with IP addresses. Today, when you're looking for something, you need to search through. I put this thing here. But when you are buying a belt, electronic belt, that is not an IP address, and you can today bring out your smartphone, you use the belt, where are you? Type the IP address of the belt and say, oh, it's on the shelf. And you are tracing it to where the IP it is. And you're looking like, bring our own days, it is stuff like this, we always say. But the future of it, when the kids are looking for something, and say, Mommy, what are you looking for? Oh, it's my shoe. Just give me the IP address. It's under the bed. That's just because the IP version 6 address they are giving you tells us that one person is entitled to 2.2 million. Another example of that is, I remember when they started talking about putting chips in people's body and people's claims in the mark of 666. During the IP version 4, nobody thought of that because the number of IP version 4 will give us is 4.3 billion. And the population of the world is more than 4.3 billion. So you don't think of that kind of a solution when you're using IP version 4. They start coming with it in IP version 6 because they know we'll have more than enough of those addresses. For example, on IP version 6, that same MAC address on your system can just get an IP address. If it's true, you can connect these two laptops just together now. Find a crossover cable and connect, and you think it works. I don't need to type in any IP address. What am I using? The MAC address on the system happens to be the IP address. So what is now the future? All they just need to do is create a wristwatch with the MAC address, IP address already. Then it's time to reform. That is just the future of IP version 6. So there's so much around the entire system. Aside from that, the switching aspects. How do I set up a network, connect to these switches? How do I protect, my networks? How do I choose which switch becomes like a master, a boss on my network? Yes, we do all those things in the system. Routing, for example. How do you have the local area network, the stars, in Kumasi communicate with stars in Accra, and your data needs to pass through a service provider? How do all those things happen? The basic of them, you get it there easily from the Cisco field itself. Now, who can come into the Cisco field? Who can start the Cisco field? My is anybody, as long as you have the interest in it. I have a younger brother who is 14 years old, just in DSS school, and he started developing interest in Cisco. By the time he's 15 next year, he's going to sit for a CCNA. Hopefully, he'll be one of the youngest CCNA ever in the entire world. As long as you want to be from the low level, you are welcome into the field. And you say, but I'm a history teacher, or it doesn't matter. Cisco welcomes anybody into the field as long as the interest is there. One last thing with it that I'm just going to close with or round up with is being honest with us completely. Cisco field is not easy. It requires people with time, dedication. Like, what can I get from it? There's a whole lot that you can learn, get from the Cisco itself. What is the prospect of this Cisco field? The prospect is huge. The process is more than enough time, stuff that you can ever think of. How far can I go with Cisco? That will be determined by you. You can do your CCNA today. I don't want to go with Cisco again. That course is just too much. How come you can stop anytime you feel like you just really want to stop? But if technology keeps changing, Cisco also keeps changing. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. So if you have any questions, I can take questions. I can answer. Feel free, any questions regarding the field, what you are not clear on, what you want me to elaborate more on, and I can really go into details. Yes. Yes.
Okay. My question over here. I'm going to start with the CCNA or the CCNA.
Oh, good. Oh, thank you. Before you can do CCNA, before you can do CCNP, you need to pass CCNA. That's it. Before you can jump to CCNA, CCNP, CCNA first. Before you can even jump to CCIE, you need to pass the CCNA, you need to pass the CCNP before you jump to CCIE. So the basic first to introduce the students to you is the CCNA routing and switching. Don't forget, I said under the Cisco field, there are different fields that are being put on that. You have the routing and switching, you have the security, you have the voice, you have the wireless, you have the design, you have the video. These are different fields entirely. So probably your choice today is, I want to go into routing and switching. So the first basic thing you always start with is the CCNA routing and switching. But I also put across that in as much as you are coming into the networking field, Cisco networking field, the first point that you should always start with is the CCNA routing and switching. Reason because when you go to a course, for example, if you go and do a security course, you start with CCNA security. They are not going to teach you routers and switches because CCNA security, they focus straight on security. They expect that you have knowledge about routing and switching already. So they go straight to the point. If you go say you want to start CCNA voice, they go straight into voice. They don't talk about how the switches work, how the routers work, their routing. They don't talk about it. They go straight to the point itself. So, but because of how our networks are being surrounded, where we end up in, they're always routing and switching. You always see routers, you always see switches. So that basic knowledge first is required before you can say, okay, I want to be major in this field. That's the reason why I told earlier on that. I said earlier on that you can't be in one particular field. You need to be in two or three. But one needs to be like your major. Other ones are just backups. Like just you just add up. Just how am I able to understand? Yeah. In case there's another one.
Yeah, with the CCNA routing and administration. That's it. After you have started from the fundamental of the routing, you have to upgrade to another level.
That's
Okay. But with the routing and administrations, when people are being taught how to set up, let's say, will you be taught how to do the setup? Will you be taught how to get the troubleshooting of it at the same time?
okay, good. Every single thing in the Cisco field, especially the system, the routing and switching, every single thing we talk. Now, I've been the one going through all around, taking all these classes, and I also have some support guys, technical guys. From the way I started training with us, start seeing them all around. What we do first is we introduce, we have class interactions, right? we solve questions for you, but you also need to have the time to solve questions for us. In the sense that I'm going to pick a topic today. I'll teach you what this thing is all about. I'll show you how to configure this. I'll show you how to configure that. But at the end of the day, you have a lab test because we want a good reputation out there. We want you to tell somebody and say, I was trained by those people, this new training. How we can't determine that you are good based on how we have to determine how good you are based on what we have taught you, then we allow you to solve problems. If you're able to solve problems that we've given you, that means we've done a very good job. But if every time we have to be the one providing solutions to all these problems, that means we are not getting the message across. That means you are only living off our knowledge, which is not the reason why. The reason why we are here is to pass the knowledge to you, and you should be able to solve problems. So, and when the classes start, I, for once, you won't see me making use of these devices, to be honest with you. You will see me working more with softwares to teach you to work with this. I've seen most of the problems there. You need to figure the problem, see the problems. If the problems will take you 1 hour to fix it, at the end of the day, what took you 1 hour to fix the day? If you encounter that problem outside again, it will take you 5 seconds just to fix. But if I discover the problem and I'm telling you the solution, you don't know how the problem came from. So it won't stick with you, but it sticks with the problem yourself. You find the way of figuring out those things. So that's practically how classes go. We have the theory section, we always have a practical section. Our practical section sometimes a little bit kind of long hours. Reasons because we want every single person to the benefit, get value for money. I've seen a lot of people who must say at the end of the day, they come down here and say, oh, we wanted to do this coaching, there's no way in the was for us to do. Thankfully, it was one of those guys who came to Kumasi that we had trained. I said, no, we need to bring it down to us. Like, we really need to bring it down to us. There are a lot of people that we've trained right in the West, they work with the gold mines in here. Some there with the mines in here. So, a whole lot of people that particular time. But the practical knowledge is what is very important. That is always the importance of this course. So, it's not that the certification is important, but if you have the certificate and you don't have the knowledge, it's not good. But if you have the knowledge and you also have the certificate, it proves that you know it. And when they give you the book, can also really test for you. Every single thing that's come to talk about here today, when they you register for the course, the classes definitely you are going to get them live on direct. So you will see most of them. So if I have any other question, I can answer. Yes, sir.
Please, with the CCNA routing and switching, after going through the practicals, are you going to have your exam in another of this one outside?
Okay, now with the CCNA exams, you need to sit for it. It's an international exam. There is a pass mark that you really need to scale through pass before you can get certification. But one thing I always tell the people, well, exams are really not really important to us. First, our own priority is you know it. When you know it, you can sit for the exams anytime you want. Do you really do? But we see people who just tell you, the reason why I'm here is teach me the practicals. Forget about the exams. I'll go do the right exam. Why someone will tell you, Charlie, my job, they ask us to provide a certificate in 3 months. So the reason why I'm here is I'm learning to pass exams, not the practicals. So when you have this kind of people in your class, you need to see how you can balance. Because in the university, some people are just there. It's not because they want it, but they are just there to come for lectures. At the end of 4 years, just give me the certificate, let me go. At the end of the day, it's going to turn to a businessman. It's not going to use it. So there are people like that right in the system. So the exams shows that I really pass, you really want. So we always tell people, don't worry about exams. You will pass the exams. Can I guarantee you that you pass the exam. Do whatever it is with trust and we push you through. Definitely, you will. At the same time, you need to be committed because we've seen people who listen so much, pay attention, but they only show interest and not committed. There are two different things between interest and commitment. So you need to be committed to the course itself, and you need to also make sure that you bring your problems so that we will also make sure that you don't only come here for 2 or 3 months to take the course based on our own knowledge, but you also bring challenges you are facing on your job, bring it to the class. Somebody, that's how other people learn. This entire way, this is what my own network, turns out to be. I remember when I was working with smart multimedia, smart energy drink. They have this huge network. Every Sunday after church, I go back to the office. I remove everything. I'll destroy everything out. I'll ask somebody to go into the server room, destroy everything, change everything, then I'll come in. Everything is messed up. I want to work on time because Monday work starts. So how do I fix this thing? It's up. And when I don't know how to fix it, I call the person. How do you remove all this thing? Do you have a designer? He said they'll fix back. Let's do Sunday. I'll still come back and do it. Until I started to destroy networks and getting them fixed. What you can learn is to destroy your own network and fix it. It's the truth. Destroy your own network and fix it back. Or ask somebody to destroy the network for you and come in. If you are not able to fix your own network that you configure, that is, you have enough problems in there. And some people don't have access to that. That's why I decided that if you train here, you have this here. You can walk in anytime in your design you really wanted to do. Come in, work on these devices. That's the reason why you're paying for it, so get value for it. It's always like so. That's the reason why we really put them in there. Any other question, please? Yes, sir.
Like the candidates that we use for the party. It is good to provide or be a student.
No, you don't need to provide anything. It's here. All you just need to do is, I believe JOETECH will tell you, what you really need to bring or to come with. But the devices are here. They are not going to be taken away from you. During the time of your period, your training session, probably for 2 months or 3 months, those devices are going to be here. Like I said, even when you have a class with me personally or with Cisnet personally, you won't see me on these devices. No. It's when you have lab exams, you are the one who do that. You come on, you fix it, and your cable, you see how this thing works. Yeah, you want to do all these things. I don't come here there. I have personal ones at home that I sit down. So I don't see why I should be struggling here with yours. It's for you. You just do problem. And funny or good enough, in Ogbonsi, no institution can boldly say that we'll train you with system, on a system device. Never. Never. Go to Kumasi, go to Accra. Cisnet Solutions have been the only company who goes around with real hardware devices, training guys in system, CCNA, CCNB, courses. So we always want to move around with these devices. Let the people be into it. Don't let us say, some companies will not give you access to this. Never. You only see them in the server room. Even when the thing is down, they prefer to call somebody from outside to come and solve the problem. Really, just for you. So, that would be our so if there's any other question I can answer also, please give insights. Okay, this is my time number 2. So thank you very much. My name is Kenny Kujore, and Cisco, that's just why I am right now. So Cisco is just
Thank you to Mr. Kenny. Let me try once again if I can. Mr. Kujore Kenny. Again, Mr. Kenny for sure. Thank you guys for your time. We are someone. We have one presentation. This one, I have some big graffiti. You go for this, you go for that. But the important aspect of it, and then the interesting aspect of it is that if you join a class, the Cisco class, all these big graffiti, you also say the same, and then people will say, and then you'll be explaining it to them. So it's a big business, right? Any institution nowadays has internet, and then if not them all, more institutions, and then we should expect more. If you know this, you can do maybe if not that they will employ you, but you can do something about it for them. Fine, you'll be in your house or you'll be in your company and they'll be calling you, oh, Charlie, let's not go. You always experience that. I don't want to mention the bank today, but you always experience that. Especially on Monday, Tuesday, and Friday, if you go there, it's systematic. But if you are here in Obuasi, and then we need not to call somebody from maybe Kumasi, they will say that, oh, if you give somebody 5,000 Ghana cedi for that person to come all the way from Kumasi to this side, we give you 4,000. We say that, oh, for transportation, now you actually free. I'm at 4,000. Meanwhile, that 4,000, you go to my problem. So it's a big business, and then we wish that is joined. So we have the last presentation for the afternoon session. And, let's please welcome Mr. Adidayo Arunari and he's going to take us through something more with Microsoft Office Suite.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm very happy to have you in this session. Yeah, what we are trying to do right here, we're not going to take time for JOETECH Ict Training and Professional Institute. We are committed to give you the best when it comes to ICT. And this is why we have the professional. What you know already, or what you're about to know. Personally, I'm a website developer and I really love coding. If you were in once the profile was given here, you see something about the instructors. I'll be taking us through some basic courses in the school year. Basically, I'll be majoring in website development, software development, which is basically the programming aspect ICT, and also on some other peripheral Microsoft Office suite. But then, everybody have been using the internet. We've been visiting Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Google. Most of the time, we make use of those websites. No, not this one. You have been using websites, but you really know how these things exist. Or you just say, give you an address. So, have you seen a website where they download music? Then someone gives it to you, oh, log on to this page. But how did that website even exist? How did it even come to the internet? It means somebody did it, isn't it? It doesn't exist on its own. I remember sometimes 1993, I was in senior high school one. That was in Nigeria. Initially I was into music. I went to the internet. One of the arcade means of browsing the internet. For those who knows how internet started in some part of Nigeria, we used to go to the internet cafe. We pay for internet browsing whilst we stay outside. Then when they print our emails for us, we don't even have personal email addresses. They print it on a sheet for you. This is the message you got in your email. You pay for it, then you see what you'll be very happy. Your uncle in the US had sent you a message. You know, this is how it started until somebody who was very rich enough came in and opened something like this, where most people had access to ICT. I was having a very high drive to learn more about ICT amongst all my 18 other siblings. I was driving fast in ICT. So most of the time when I have my chop money, I would not eat with that chop money. I was very skinny because of this. I would rather love to go to the internet cafe to browse, to see what is behind that computer. You see, this interest keep going. One day, when I saw some dude like that sitting down behind the computer, writing codes, basically, I don't know what exactly he was doing. But what really thrilled me so much was my my understanding those time was whatsoever is behind this computer are these brofo people, isn't it? The white people. So I was not expecting not a single black man on the internet. So surprisingly, in 1993, I saw a black man sitting beside me on the computer, whose picture is also appearing on the page on the internet. Then I grabbed him. Who are you? Where do you come from? How exactly your picture? Or am I seeing something different? Are you sure that was really you? He said, yes. I am a website developer and I did that web page. Basically, I'm into QBasic, blah, blah, blah. He started mentioning programming languages like Fortran, COBOL, Pascal, GBase 4, and many others like that. Then I was wondering, are these things all about computer? Because they were strange language to me. Then he said yes. That if I'm interested to be an ICT guy, he just came down to Nigeria and he lives in the UK before. He can take me just on 1 week training. And I said, gladly, I would love to do that. How did I do it? I went to press pound and go, Mom, I just got something very important. If you don't give it to me, I will do something crazy in this side. I will not even eat your food again. Then she said, what exactly is that? I told her, this is what I saw. Like, my mother said, this browsing. I hope it's not driving you somewhere else you don't want to be. My ambition right from the start was I wanted to be a medical doctor. I was studying so hard to be a medical. But when I saw ICT, the interest suddenly changed. I went on a 1 week training with this man. He took me through some basic things. Before I went there, I already had some basic knowledge on the ICT, playing games on the computer like Windows 98, 95 those times, NT 2000. They were all in system those times. I used to play those games, V-Cups, Mario games on the computer, so I was a little bit keen to this area. So when he put me through some text editor, just like magic, he performed a whole lot for me on the PC. And I was so thrilled. What did I do? I paid him the money he charged me and went through a just 1 week training with him, which he showed me everything I needed to know as a basic learner. And he traveled back to the UK. So consequent training were given to me on the internet. But from this perspective, I realized there are different designations when it comes to ICT. There I knew web developers are different from web users. We have more than 8 billion people using the internet daily. But do you know 99% are just users? But those who make the internet speak, those who make it look like what it is today, are just very few. Here in Obuasi today, I'm afraid if we would have up to 3 or 4 professional web developers. Now compare that to every other part of Ghana, every other part of Africa. As at the time I started as a website designer before moving to the second stage of a developer. In my area where I grew up, there was nothing like that. If you would see anybody who is very crazy, everybody talks about him as a computer guru. He does this, he does that. The best he could do was Microsoft Word, design, letterhead, and many other things like that. But when I started as a website designer, I started writing codes at home. My brothers started looking at me like, what are you doing? What exactly it is? All I would just let them is sit down, watch. By the time I start writing all the jargons together and it becomes something, when I compile my program and it comes being interpreted on the browser, you'll be wondering, how exactly did you do that? But we went to computer school before you. How did you learn how to do this thing? These were left to to me to explain to them how exactly I was able to learn very fast. But basically, becoming a website developer, what does it entail? How does it change your life? Right here, I'm not trying to let you see it as if it's the best option for life, but for me, it's my basic means of survival over the last few years. I have been able to travel to nothing less than 8 to 9 countries whatsoever to study and to work. And so far, I've been able to do this basically on just one job that I know how to do so far in this year. Website solutions, administration, and so on like that, management. So this section this afternoon, I'm trying to let you see some reasons why most of us need to be a web designer or a website developer whatsoever. Most of us run some businesses, some of us are journalists, some of us are entrepreneur, while some even does a whole lot of other things. You have concepts, you don't even know how to get it to the world. You approach a radio station, they will tell you, okay, for one session, maybe morning bells is a bit costlier than the afternoon, but you can't even afford it for 1 week. You have a concept that can fetch you a lot of money, but the money to even bring it to life isn't even there. So how do you get it along? But if you have this basic knowledge that can help you to while around the world just at your own fingertip by just doing some little magic on your PC, you find it very much more easier to get through the world. You see my brother standing there with a mobile phone. What we are doing right now in this place, as beautiful as the world is, everyone who has the link to this page can see us live and direct. Even while you were not being very, very free to come here today, if you had access to the link on that phone broadcasting, you could have sat in the comfort of your office and listening to all this seminar. As simple as that. How does it come to life? Some website developer did that. Do we now see how it works? So as a website developer, you decide what happens on the internet. You decide what people see, what people do not see. You give solution. E-registration. Most students today, they don't register by hand again in the registry, school registry. If you are sending your child to the school, what they have to tell you is go and buy some BEC card in some post office or some bank to register where? On the website. You don't have the website, the card wouldn't work. How did it happen? It doesn't just exist. But some people make it work like that. Within these few years I'm talking about, I've been able to give a lot of solution, website solution whatsoever, to different companies. Let's name it communication companies, business development, IT firms themselves, entrepreneur, personal websites, sports agencies, and many others, schools. So how does it work? As a website developer, you don't have to, in any situation, devalue yourself in any way, like every other IT expert would do. Like, okay, I'm just a Microsoft Office user, and I can design everything I need to do. Whatsoever happens on that Microsoft Office software is just a bit of what a website development will open your eyes into. Just like my brother Kenny just explained to you. When you go deeply into CCNA, you see a whole lot of things about networking, routing, switching, and so on like that. But website development, when you go deep into it, the Microsoft Word you are using today, you have capability to design your own, what is her name? Kenny's Word. to process your own word processing software. As a developer, you have a lot of ability to create software for yourself, for companies. I developed a website recently this January for a sporting club in Obuasi, popularly known as Ashko. It came up with a package like Android solution with it, whereby you can just log on to Google Play, download Ashko Sporting Club Android solution, install on your phone, and see every other thing that happens on the website, even live matches. When there is a live match anywhere, there's update on the website. You get all the information you need to. How does it happen? Most of the time, most of us have used this website for live updates when there are sports around the world. Mostly, I'm not this type of person that sits behind TV. I like to listen to radio or internet rather than sitting behind TV. So when there is football or something, I only log on to my internet, livescore.com. Let me see the commentary. Because when I'm seeing you play the ball to the other side, I might get pressure. So I don't like watching at all. So all those things were made possible by website developer. So not to take our time whatsoever, let's see what and what it entails to become a website developer. Here, we'll be talking about the fundamentals. What we'll cover in this basic session this afternoon. On this screen, we're having the first line to be FTP. What is the meaning of FTP? You might have been working on the computer sometimes in your life and you came across this word, FTP. What does it simply mean? FTP simply means File Transfer Protocol. What does it really mean? Here, why should it be the first tool in your web developer's toolbox? As a website developer, you need tools to equip yourself. And how to use these tools is what you're about to learn in this school. So these tools makes you website developer. Like you want to be a taxi driver, you don't have your license. You still don't have all the tools needed, or you don't have driving experience at all. You have to go to a driving school, get the knowledge, and get the license, and even get a car before you start driving. As a website developer, the basic things you need are these listed here. First is a file transfer protocol. File transfer protocol is just a file sharing software, either for downloading or publishing. So this communicates between the web hosting server and your IDE. What is your IDE? That is the Internet Development Environment. So the FTP helps you to transfer whatever you've been able to do on your personal computer. That is the full meaning of PC. On your personal computer, transfer everything there to a website server. So let's look at the next stage. You need HTML basic. What's involved in writing it and understanding the basic element of a web page. HTML. Has anybody come across this tag, HTML, before? Here. Thank you very much. I think we have learners in the house. HTML simply stands for Hypertext Markup Language. HTML stands for Hypertext Language. This is a web page development language used in converting or interpreting a web page development tag into a user-friendly interface on the browser. You also need before you can become a website designer. We also look at the next stage, CSS. CSS simply means cascading style sheet. A simple example. Those of us who are very familiar with Microsoft Office software. Most of the time when you are working on a spreadsheet, you wrote a program, D1 on the formula line equals to D1 plus, you see that, divided by 100 into a particular column. That gives you a, so to make it all appear on the rest of the pages, you select that cell. Then there's a drop down button below the cell. When you drag it down, the formula copies itself to the rest of the pages. That simply means whatever goes into that place carries the formula to operate. Am I clear with this? Website development. When you are going into website development, first thing you need to have is the knowledge about cascading style sheet. What does it do? It tells the web page how to function, how to look like, how elements on it to behave. That's what cascading style sheet does. Then we move on to JavaScript and its role in user interaction, how it integrates and why it matters. Here, everybody sees some things happening mostly every day, but you don't even know how it works. Have you ever seen this word cookies? Cookies. Even on our phones, you see cookies. Cookies are one of the products of JavaScript. When you visit a web page today, tomorrow you get back there, it tells you welcome back, Kofi. How did it happen? You visited it yesterday or maybe last year. You never went back there, but your system visited in time. Your cookies, everything, you've not cleared the memory. When you visit it back, it shows you your IP address has been registered on this web page. Or you visit a web page and it asks you to input your name. When the page loads, you input your name, your email address, it sends it in and it saves automatically. How does it happen? Say, yeah. If you are alive, and you say, yeah, I can see some people doesn't know. All right, it's a long afternoon. Please, Mr. Kofi, can you arrange why is the class is going or doesn't do it? So JavaScript does a lot of duty in website development. It brings your website to life. Cookies, it has some security level also. Even in networking, there are JavaScript solutions that goes into networking too. So we will be emphasizing more on these stages too. You also need knowledge on Flash and what role it plays in presentation, interaction, and the ups and downs in using it. Technology grows faster every day. Like my brother said, when I started website development, so to say, I spent barely in conversion to Ghana city, 10,000 naira should be average. Let's say about 200 Ghana cities. Let's say 200 Ghana cities, 1993. That's the much I paid to the teacher who trained me. And my very first contract that was given to me was from a church. And I charged them 25. That was 3 weeks after my training. I charged 25,000. 25,000 would be about 550 Ghana cedis from 200 Ghana cedis. How much profit from what I gave into it, the initial amount I paid into learning? 3 weeks after, I approached my church. Don't you think a church needs to go? We need to be known why, what, why. Then my pastor said, yes, it's been part of my adventure, but how do we do it? And I told the little boy standing in front of you, he's a website developer. I can give you a nice solution. I don't even know how deep website development works. Technology grows faster. That's what I'm trying to let you know here. All I was able to do those times, Photoshop was not so much like that. I don't even think it's in existence. We have Page Maker from was not in existence. 1983. We had only correct or correct 8. So I was able to use those graphics, Paint Shop, CorelDRAW, and some other software for creating GIF animation. You see some image animating. You don't even know how it happens. These are part of those things you learn develop. You visited the website and you see some slideshows, some beautiful outlook comes up. You don't even know how it happens. All these things are just mere command you give to your web page. Okay, I want you to behave like this. After 3 seconds, throw this one away and bring another image. After 5 seconds, slide this one off, maybe box it out and bring another one in. So, Flash design was not even in existence those times. We make use of GIF animator to create animation on our web pages. I was able to create this website within 3 or 4 days thereabout. Complete profile of my church, photo gallery, the sermons that is given every Sunday, we put it on, which I was able to update it almost for them. Then my pastor was so interested, he started sending it to church members, some big bro who had traveled to UK, US this time, some in Germany, and they were saying, oh wow, that's a very good start for the church. It went on like that. I had more confidence in myself that if I could do it for my church, why not go after some other churches around? Then when I go to here, I know, okay, this church is not rich enough to do it. Okay, let me give you for free. If you get it for free and you love it for 1 year, why not upgrade? Then I'll do it. After sometimes, I was very popular around the time. Initially, I was known to be a great musician, but then ICT, I was very popular in ICT world. Website design, oh, call that. They will give you the best, even when it may be the best those times. Because when I look back, I will try and show you some of my initial job those times during this job. Even till 2004, there was nothing like web development environment softwares. Like Front Page was able to come into the system, Dreamweaver was able to come into the system, and many others like that. So Flash is a software you need to learn to become a professional website developer, at least to get something more attractive to your users on the internet. But then we'll still talk more about this Flash when we start the class. Then the next stage, which you need to acquire so much before you can be proud of yourself anywhere. When they call website developer, you tell them, I am the one. When someone says, I need a website for my business, you tell them, I'm the solution. I remember when I got the contract for the Ash Gold website, what did I even went to the stadium to do? I was having a space at Mad Park where I put some small container. Then somebody had gone to occupy this small space beside it. So I had to go and make a complaint. What was I trying to do? Open a pizzeria, make pizza, shawarma, and some other stuff. Whilst I was making this one, I went there. Conversation proceeded. Then after some time, one of them, what do you really do? Are you a chair for what? I said, no. Precisely, I'm a computer science graduate. And I major in website development. He said, really? Wow, that's a very, very good profession. As a website developer, you have trends. And you are a very, very big one. I said, well, I give thanks to God. I've been able to give a lot of solutions so far in my year of service. For myself, not quite long, the other man in the office came around that their website is going off in maybe 2 months or 3 months. So they have to pay for the domain renewal. Then I asked them, you have your website already? Can I check it out? When I saw it, I laughed. Why did I laugh? It wasn't as good as what I did some years back when I was still in. Then I told them, why not let me touch this website up for you a little bit? Or if you really want to make a real sport website, why not give me the chance to give you something more interactive, something more responsive, whereby right now the website you are showing me, if you visit it on the mobile phone, it's not responsive. And as a sports website, it needs to be responsive. It needs to be compatible devices that visit it. That makes it scalable. That makes it more compatible and flexible for users to see it, love it, exit from there, and still love to come back again. And they said, really? Okay, contract after 1 month. When the directors appended their signature on the contract, even money has not been disbursed. But because I know the fire I carry on the inside, as a website developer, what did I do? I started programming for them. The day they called me for my very first check, I also called them the evening. You can also visit the website because I already finished the job, but I did not deliver. So when they paid my money, I called them because it costed me nothing to do that. Why I run a web hosting server where I can host you or delete you at any time I want. You get that? So once I saw that, they made payment, then I called them the very first next minute. Can you visit www.so-so-website.com? Then you see it. Then when they were astonished, yesterday, one of the directors called me that, oh, I was at the GFA meeting, and so far, they had one of the most beautiful sports websites in Ghana. And we want Facebook account and Twitter account to be created. And I said, that's not a big problem. Everybody can do that. But to integrate it to the website is just where I come in. Then they said, how much would that one cost you? Then I have to analyze, okay, if you want Facebook and this way we can schedule maybe $20 daily. Let's run it for 1 month. 2 times 3, 60, that's about, you know how under any circumstances, I'll still get my service charge on that. Which simply means as a website developer, except if you are very lazy, you don't have to be broke at any time. You don't have to be broke whatsoever. So, learning this last stage of this page gives you that boldness, gives you that capability to make things happen on the internet, and which is what PHP and ASP. These two programming languages are called server-side scripting language. PHP stands for preprocessed hypertext markup language, whilst ASP stands for active server page. Active server page. What does these two software programming language does? The basic thing they do is they serve as a programming solution on your web page. We have computer application. So also we have website application. When you go on someone's website to register, you register on Facebook. That registration was carried out by something. Then tomorrow you still come back, you log into that page with your username and password. Then you are still able to operate on that page. What happens? There's a script on that particular page that extracts all information that was inputted into your HTML form and transferred that information into a web server and kept it inside what? A database on your website server. So tomorrow, when you go back there to log in, the moment what happens? that script again, that same script, whether PHP or ASP, we query the website, and that information goes into the database that, oh, so person John Mensa with password, see as your password, as trying to log on to this page. Is it having information on our web page? Then if it does, it will tell you successful, welcome to Facebook. But when it's not available on that page, maybe wrong information typed into the HTML form, what happens? It will tell you wrong username or password. If you have forgotten, you click forgotten password, then it goes what? It sends query to the web page to go and look for information either about your username or your email address to see if there are information to bring back to you. This is what PHP and ASP does. But PHP or ASP does not operate on its own. They have their interfaces. Let me make it more clear here. You have your computers in different brands, different make, from different companies, and they all operate on different operating systems. Do we all know what operating system is? The operating system, when it comes to the fundamentals of computer, about different operating systems. Mostly in Africa, we make use of Windows operating system. Here we make use of Windows 95, 98, 97, 92,000, 2005, that is Service Pack 2, and Service Pack 3, and so on and on and on. Now, what is in the system is Windows 8, right? Which is very much popular, very beautiful, with nice icons and everything. But when you look at the Western world, they make use of more of the Linux operating, that is the Macintosh system, Mac OS, or the most popular product they have in system is the iPhone, the Apple products, and many others like that. So they run on different operating systems. So in this case, PHP runs on a server on the internet, and the server which it works with is called whilst ASP runs on a .NET framework, which is basically developed by Microsoft. So if you've had basic knowledge on Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, proceeding access database design, you will have more knowledge on how to use ASP as time goes on. But developers prefer PHP to ASP because mostly it is widely used. It is widely used by developers, and most browsers support it. We have a lot of internet browsers today, like Internet Explorer, Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, and many others like that. So all these are well supported with PHP. But when you are running active server page, which is almost going outdated right now, because in the development trend, ASP has grown to the level whereby it doesn't seem to be very, very relevant again. When C programming came into it, that is C#. All these programming languages are used in developing web apps. So you will learn, PHP and ASP will be discussed in very general terms with an eye towards use of dynamic and content management system. I'll give you a short example of this from this point. Can I have the mouse, please? Or you can still take me back to that page. I will use an example of something you are very familiar with here. I'm trying to log on to a web page here. And let's see how many it will be. The information on it and every other thing. What makes it what it is. What is up on the screen. Can we see any changes? Can you scroll up a little bit? Do you see information on that page? Do you see it changing and so on like that? In those times I was talking about, we make use of Flash software to design banners on web page. What does Flash? And what happens? When it goes on maybe Internet Explorer, it will tell you download Adobe plugins, media player to play that video. Have you visited any pages like that before? So right now, the technology, developers work harder every day. Life is more compatible and scalable. So in this sense, we don't develop Flash with the Flash software again. We create the image, then we command it with program. So in a very simple way, it does what Flash design should have done for you. Let's check out something else again. So what I'm showing you right now is a typical HTML5, CSS3, and jQuery program, which are very, very simple. Within a few period of time, you can learn all these things just right here in this code. Do you see that? You see that? It's very beautiful when you do something and you see it working live on the internet, just right on your PC. All these things were created with just some maybe 4 or 5 lines of programming language, which we can learn very easily. So, making it more interactive, dynamic, and very, very user-friendly, how does it work? On this page, there's a where you can learn so many other things after registration. What happens when you click on that? You have a registration page. Sign up. Then what happens? Students sign up, login, and password to sign up. You see that all those things are simple web page solutions you can do with the help of ASP or PHP programming. So let's go back to the slideshow. Yeah. So let's quickly see the basic of how. So here, this is a simple infographic of how the internet works. Visiting Facebook, Twitter, and many other web pages, but you don't even know how they existed, how they work. So what happens here? Let's start from the domain name registrar. Who are the domain name registrar? If you have money enough today, you can also open a domain name registration company and become a web hosting server provider, whereby you give service to people who registers name for their website. So from the company, they register a name when it's being propagation period on the internet. It goes through the domain name resolver stage, then an IP address is assigned to your web page. Do you see that? That is the technical aspect of this thing. But when this is done, it comes to a host. Who is that host? I can be a hosting company, but I may not be a domain name registrar. Do you get that? It depends on how much you have to do that. It's a big business. But then I have a hosting server. So I've been able to buy a domain name from a registrar's place and connect it to my hosting service to provide the artwork. You understand? So on this place, I'm a host who has gotten service from a domain name registry. Right now, I have a web page to give out. That domain name, if I do not put anything on it, on that page, when users visit that page, maybe www.obuasi, and I've not put anything on that domain I have registered, any content on the web page. That is where the website developer needs to do something. So right from the domain name registry, it comes to the hosting company. So the hosting company gives service to the domain for it to be available. Exactly place. And from that service it gives it the access. It's just for an instance, you buy MTN SIM card. They call it chip here, MTN chip, isn't it? You buy MTN chip, but you've not gone to register it. There's a phone number on it already, but it's been given out to you. Use that chip. No, you will not be able to use it until you take it to the MTN office. You register with an identification card. Then after that, they ask you to recharge on that phone before you can start making calls. Then during the period of usage, once you are using that, you stop that is your chip for the period of maybe 3 months or 4 months. What happens? Your SIM card becomes dormant. That means you have automatically terminated your service with MTN. At the end of the day, if you refuse to recharge after a few period of time, I think they will recycle that phone number and send it to some other part of the country. Most of the time, it has happened to some of people who called me on some good number, and they'll be speaking some Hausa language that this number is from my uncle. They say, "Oh, I just bought this SIM some few weeks ago." Why? Because there's recirculation of SIM cards with this service on the website. When someone goes and registers a domain name with a domain name registry, and it's got an hosting package maybe for a period of 1 year. If your customer do not pay for that service, automatically that website will go off, and there will be a grace period of 3 months from the date of expiration. So if your customer do not activate within that period, it will lose that domain forever. Then after 6 months of propagation again, the domain name will come back for everybody who has money to buy it to use. So if tomorrow I decide to use obuasi.com as my page, if it has not been registered, it is officially mine. I'm not from Obuasi, but I can register obuasi.com as a domain and do my business on it. But if tomorrow I decide not to activate that site after it expires, someone else can pick that same domain and use it again with its own content. So, from the hosting company, from the hosting company, they give you a disk space where a website developer will put a store. So let's look at the hosting company as Obuasi itself. Then the hosting company provider had the chief men, or the king's men, who gives lands for people to buy in Obuasi, right? Or rent out their stores, landlord who rents their stores out to people to make their business in it. When you pay for your rentage, you have access to the property 24 hours. But the moment your rent is going up, they will start chasing you with phone call. Kofi, don't forget it's month ending already. You understand? Same thing with web hosting company. When it's 3 months before your hosting service expires, they will give you a reminder at so date, this month of this year, your service will be disconnected. So to save that from happening, what happens? You have to pay in advance to keep it running. So from there, they give you a space. Inside that space, if we were 3 friends in the house, the way I'll design my room will be different from the way you will arrange your room. Isn't it? Same thing happens on web hosting. When you have your hosting space, the web page you give out for people to use will be different from what I will give out for people to use. Then whatever comes out here is what the user sees. Exactly. And there comes the job of an internet service provider, which is the in-depth, or may I say, a base out of what the CCNA, the Cisco administrators does, internet service provision. So in this essence, you see how the web page works. And here we have database-driven website. Most of the time, many people see a lot of web pages on the internet. You've been able to register on it, and you've been able to log out and come back again. It's because they are database-driven. Exactly. It's because they are database-driven. So how does it work? From the hosting package, which is given to you by a hosting company, on that hosting package, there's a database section that has been installed, pre-installed on that web page. See, on the Apache server, my SQL database is available. Has any one of us heard of SQL server before? It's a Microsoft database management software. It's mostly used in big banks, some big entrepreneur companies, and many others like that. So we have the database available on the hosting package, which is one of the properties you've kept inside your room. If you call this place a Cisco classroom without a rack here, then the class is not complete enough for Cisco training. So for your website to work perfectly, there's always a need for a database to be installed on the hosting server. And that database, how does it work? This is how everything works. PHP the other time. PHP interacts with the browser and the database. So I would say it's an intermediate between the web browser and the database. What does it do? It collects information from the HTML form on your web page, sends it to the database to keep record. Then whenever you need that record again, it queries the web database. Are you getting the scenario? It queries the database, gathers the information there, and sends it back to the browser-only purposes. So from here, PHP communicates interwovenly between the browser and the database. Any user who is communicating on a web page cannot access the database. But PHP works according to the given instruction by the developer. So from here, browser queries the database through the PHP, but everything works on an IP address that has been given. And it goes on and on with that service given by the internet service provider, then the domain name server, it goes to the domain name registry, just the same process of having your web domain name given in the very first place. So before I go, we have some basic servers on which your web page would work. You might have come across some of these terms on the internet. The very first one here is LAN. And what does LAN stand for? Linux, Apache, MySQL, PHP. All these terms I've mentioned contains a framework, database, programming language, and a server before you can have a web page to operate properly. Most people run POS terminals in their shop. At times, some software based with a flat database. You understand? Why some goes on an enterprise stage by installing an SQL server in their shop there. Locally, they can manage all their inventory, sales, and every other thing. Whilst with a LAMP server, you can also create an online shop whereby you have mattress shop in Obuasi, you have some at Teshima, you have some in Accra, and you can sit down here in Obuasi and monitor everything going on in all of these shops with an online database server that runs your inventory software. So as we have LAMP for Linux, Apache, MySQL, and PHP server, we also have one that is Windows, Apache, Linux, PHP. So we will still go more into all these things. So right here is a little more explanation on FTP, which I've given you earlier. FTP simply means file transfer protocol. This is the method you will use to move files to and fro from your host. I told you earlier, when you finish your design, the very best way to keep it on the internet for people to see it is through an FTP. The better the tool integrates with your computer, the easier it will be published to your site changes. So how does this thing correlate with what we are doing right now? We have a lot of FTP software. Even your web hosting company comes with an inbuilt uploader, that is an inbuilt file transfer protocol. But we have softwares that are being downloaded to do this task. In this lesson, we will show you a whole lot of those things. How to do all these things. How do people put their web page on the internet? How can I update my website? Or how can I bring the website down and make changes, then put it back on the internet? So there are web-based tools, but I found them inefficient. Why did I say it's inefficient? The web-based tool, most of the time, the security level on your web page may not allow that person's IP to communicate with your database, with your HT access and the HTTP doc on your web server. Then you need to install that software on your PC to carry your IP address before it communicates to your web server. So all those things will be shown to you how to do them. So let's move on to the next page. Example of FTP programs, which I have tried over the year and I'm giving thumbs up to, whether you're a beginner or you're already into file transfer services on the internet. All these things I've listed here are very, very good for you. And you can learn more when you start the class. Mostly right now, I make use of FileZilla. Whatsoever you want to import from the internet down to your PC, or you want to export from your PC to a web hosting server, you need one of these software. This is for Mac, Macintosh, and this is FileZilla, Smart FTP, FTP Explorer, or WS FTP. They work perfectly well. And for your information, they are all very, very, very free. Free is not good. FTP in the scheme of things. This is how it works. We have it in two ways. This is your web hosting environment. This is your web page. Your web page communicates directly to the browser. You understand? Your hosting company gets transfer information to the internet browser for people to see. But from your PC, that is on a local personal computer, FTP serves as intermediate to transfer information to and fro before people could see it on the browser. Then we have it on the other hand, FTP from a Dreamweaver or an IDE, that is Internet Development Environment. Dreamweaver is one of the software used in developing web pages. So it also has an inbuilt file transfer protocol. You can finish your design that very minute. If you have an hosting server, you can just publish the server for everybody to see. So from this end, this is just a little information on how the FT communicates with your hosting server, your website development area, and your PC with the browser. So GUI editors, what you see is what you get. Have you ever seen this tag on the internet before? WIS, IWIGs. Most of the time you might have come across it. You don't even know what it really stands for. It simply means what you see is what you get. It's a very, very popular word processor on the internet. I give them also. Very, 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 very nice software. So this GUI editor simply means graphic user interface editor. So with the name implication, it means GUI is used for designing graphics. Stuff like CorelDRAW, Photoshop, PaintShop, and many others like that. InDesign, many others, Mogul, they are all used for graphics design. So the GUI editors for web page are basically registered and they are well known by web developers and those who are learning right now. So from here we have the very first one to be Dreamweaver. Beginners always seems to start with this. It is a great tool. The preview isn't quite right. It's slow, it's big, it's expensive in FTP2, tight integration with Adobe CS. Dreamweaver has a serious software these days. So whatever you do on Dreamweaver software, you have Adobe, Photoshop, and so on like that. Recently, I learned the Adobe company has bought up the Dreamweaver's company. So they manage the software, all the shortcuts, the parameters used on this software are all alike these days. So we basically use this for website development. Right from year 2005 till date, I was introduced into using Dreamweaver. And to date, I have not had any better software that is graphic user interface for website development than this. We have front page. Front page, very common starting point on PC, solid and serviceable, deep integration with Windows operating system. If you buy the full Microsoft Office suite application, recently they removed front page and replaced it with Publisher, whereby you can have a lot of stuff in Publisher. But with Microsoft front page, it does basically website design, but it is used to develop websites. So we have plain text editors, cheap, fast, efficient, reliable, trustworthy, multi-platform. My choice, BB Edit for the Mac. Downside, not quite as helpful as GUI application. What does this simply mean? If you are not very sound writing codes, or you are not quick remembering the HTML code, the PHP code, the JavaScript code, jQuery, XML, and so on like that, you may not be able to do. But then, as a website developer, you start somewhere, and the best place to start with is with a plain text editor on Microsoft Office, Microsoft operating system. We have you ever seen this software, Notepad++? You've seen it on your computer most of the time. Most of the time you open it, you don't even know what it does. Like, okay, it's just for writing notes and you just leave it there. But it does so much when it comes to website development. It's the brain behind every solution you give on the internet. So text editors, we have it for Mac, we have this for Windows. JEdit, Creasing, Notepad are all available. So the HTML basics We have HTML is a markup language. It consists of tags. HTML consists of tags. When you look at the fundamentals of computer, learning how computer operates, starting from data processing into output aspect of the computer. When something from the input device to the computer, it goes where automatically. It goes into the random access memory. There, the central processing unit, which is called the CPU, popularly, we go and fetch the information. Are you with me? Process it and output it out in a readable format, either numerically, alphabetically, or in an image form. But most of these things you see displayed here are represented programmably in a numeric form in the index of the PC itself. So one alphabet that is displayed, mention of some numbers, mostly binary, 101, 0011, and so on like that. That makes what you see here. Same thing is applicable to website development. Languages that communicate, that interacts with the browser and the compiler to bring out something reasonable from the internet. So here we work with a couple of codes. So from this class today, I'll show you some little codes. If you have a PC at home, you can just write it down and quickly try it out from home. Then you see you are already a website designer. It's just very simple. So HTML is a markup language. It consists of tags. The tags are abbreviation of some word, English word in a mathematical concept, mathematical operators, greater than and lesser than, right? So inside these parentheses, we have B. B inside that parenthesis, that operator. What does it simply mean in a programming language? When you see, when the compiler sees something like this, it's simply telling the compiler that whatsoever is inside that tag should be bold. So now correlate it to B is for bold. Then what will be for underline? U. What will be for italics? I. Are we not programmers already? We think fast. So looks a lot like the pre. That is the what you see is what you get. Word processor. That is the word star browser. Interprets and present the markup. That's generally open and close. So this is one thing about computer. When there is a beginning, there should be an end in every command you give. If I ask my young man up there, bring me that computer. Bring me the computer behind you, maybe the monitor. It's a command. If it goes beyond bring the computer and even taking it outside and giving it to somebody else outside, it's done more than the command I've given to him. Computers are the most obedient devices I've ever had in this world. They are more obedient than them. So whatever command you give to them, they follow. So in this sense, when a tag is open, it must have an ending point. So if we have 100 words, Ict Training Center, or what, that is the ending of the article. Today, 28th of this month of this year, so training was held at so place at this time. The contents, blah 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 blah, and so on like that. Full stop. If you put the bold tag at the beginning of that test and you put it at the end, everything in that page will be bold. Or if you select it, okay, the heading alone, there's an opening tag, and at the end of the heading, there's a closing tag. What happens? The rest, we have their normal format. So in this sense, we have a couple of tags in HTML. HTML tag always have opening tag and closing tag. Then we call it start and ending tags. It also has some few tags that only has the opening tag without the closing tag. Tags could also be called element. So if eventually you register for our class and you hear me talking about elements, you should also see it as tags. So image and links, link path can be absolute or relative demo. For many years, HTML page design was done using the table tag. In the last decade, CSS, that is cascading style sheet, support in browser has improved oriented design techniques can be used. You see what I was telling you? When I learned website development, there was no tag like div. Div is an insert section created on the web page. I showed you a website the other time where we have all the stuff, everything. If you visited it, if you have visited it on your phone, you will see everything properly arranged. That is why these days, when you visit a site on the computer, when you come on the mobile phone, you will see mobile version, very beautiful on it. It's because the technology has improved. If there has been any website that has not been updated in the past, except for those who wish not to have it, you understand, in the responsive way, who still do it like that. When you see the old designs, they go on tables. So tables will not compress to the size of your phone size, the phone screen. So it only operates on the size it could read at the time. But right now, CSS cascading style sheet has improved so much that they're able to create new tags, which are improving so fast and very much easy to configure today. So, moving on to the next HTML page element, we have it in different forms. We have the very first thing, document type. Doc type simply stands for document type. On the internet, we have a lot of documents. It could be JavaScript document, it could be ASP document, it could be a HTML document or PHP document. So the document you are trying to work on at a particular time is HTML. So the document type you are working on will be stated clearly in front of your doc. I'll do a practical session for you on this after this slideshow. Then we have the HTML beginning of hypertext. So what does this simply mean? On every programming language we write for a web page, HTML must start it. That is after you define your document type, followed by the head and the body. Let me give a simple illustration of this. When you want to build a house, the very first thing you do is what? You first sit down, look at your finances, make a plan. Am I clear? You make a plan on what you really want to build. The building plan, I would need about maybe 2 plots of land to achieve that kind of building. How much do I have saved in the bank to do that project? Then after that, you build that is the planning stage. And that planning stage serves as the period at which you went to buy your domain name, get an hosting package plan. So the domain name is the land you bought. The hosting plan is the space of land that has been given to you to build on. So when you now build your house has a head. The roof of your house is the head of the building. Am I right? And that building has a title. Isn't that correct? That building has a name. They will say, oh, that house, it's a duplex. Oh, it's a 5-room bungalow. Am I right? Same thing is applicable to your programming language. The structure it takes is just like a building, whereby we have the head containing the title, the links, the scripts, the meta. The meta tag helps your website to create a crawler that allows search engines to come to your web page. You see some websites they've existed for 50, 100 years. When you still go to Google or any of the popular search engines, you search for them, you can't find them. Why? Because there was no proper definition of meta tags on their web page. You get what I'm saying? It's just a matter of practicing it. You can go online, type your name and search for it. If it's not available, then you've not registered with the most popular network. You understand? If you have any project on the internet, you go to Google, you search for it, you can't find it, then it's not yet registered in the right place it should be. So it's the help of meta tag generation from your head section of your page. Then we have body. The body of your building contains every other thing. Now, when we are inside this house, do you sit inside this house and see the color of the roof? You can't see the color of the roof, but you only see the color of the room, what is arranged in the room. When you stand outside, you can only see the roof. But the body is by doing this route. Body is the content of, that is to say, from that web page, you do from point up is still known to you. But the rest elements on that internet start here. Here, the body. So you don't even know what is the. So let's quickly see of the somebody wanted to understand this thing. It's the simplest thing you could ever see. Can someone turn on the last thing? If you could see clearly what is here, we have the very first thing on the going to be doctor, isn't it? Doctor, that is HTML public, W3 school, W3 content, HTML 4.01. 4.01 is a program of HTML that was developed in the year 2005. Now HTML5, which is ready right now, it has a lot of features that will train you to learn. The moment